Chapter 50. These beautiful women were hot, and their figures were hot. As they walked around, they attracted the attention of the bandits. Turn right at the 8th intersection. Go forward for another 30 feet, then turn left. Su Fong, who was being escorted by 2 bandits, was secretly memorizing every fork in the road from the entrance to the secret passage. These secret passages seemed to have been built for a long time. It seemed that the bandits had continued to dig more complicated secret passages under the ruins of the ancient city. Why is this person unfamiliar? It seemed that they had finally reached the end of the secret passage. This was a large secret room that looked like a secret prison. There were all kinds of torture instruments hanging in the secret room. 2 burly men looked at Su Fong happily and couldn't help but rub their palms together. The 2 men brought Su Fong to the bottom of the metal frame and chained Su Fong up. One of them said, "We just caught him nearby." He claimed to be from Kulu Valley. One of the burly men grabbed a sickle-like torture instrument and walked over step by step. "You spy. Our brothers in Kulu Valley are all dead. Even the altar master lost his head. You're only at the first level of the secret passage. How could you escape from the Flying Feather Army?" Su Fong quickly shook his head and explained, "No, I clearly saw a few other brothers escape. I just don't know if the Flying Feather Army caught up with them." The burly man stopped in his tracks. His 2 big eyes moved up and down. "Is that so?" Su Fong nodded. Yes. It's definitely not possible that I'm the only one who escaped alive. Bring him up." The other burly man knocked on the wall. "Let's go." Suddenly, the wall moved to both sides. A few bandits were dragging chains behind them, and behind them were 3 bloody people. Su Fong was surprised and happy. He secretly stared at 2 of them. Lien Zhan, Li Suqing. It turned out that the 2nd and 3rd bloody people were Lien Zhan and Li Suqing. The one in front was an unfamiliar face. The burly man stomped his feet and shouted, "The 4 of you escaped from Kulu Valley. Since you're all in Kulu Valley, you must know each other. Quick, see if you know each other." Su Fong immediately pointed at Lien Zhan. He's a little familiar. I've seen him too. When the Flying Feather Army killed their way into Kulu Valley, he escaped before them. Li Suqing pointed at Su Fong, trembling. In the blink of an eye, Su Fong, Li Suqing, and Lien Zhan gave the same explanation. The ferocious eyes of the bandits immediately glared at the first bloody man. Maybe there are brothers. Maybe there are brothers who just came in. Maybe they're brothers who were patrolling in other secret passages. I would rather kill the wrong person than let one person go, "You spy." The burly man with the torture instrument suddenly hit the bloody man's neck. With a slight pull, the bloody man's throat was pulled out and cut off. The bloody person struggled to say something, but he couldn't say anything else. Lien Zhan, Li Suqing, and Su Fong seemed to have discussed this. They were so scared that their legs trembled and their teeth chattered. "Spare us. Spare us. We don't want to die." The burly man licked the blood. "Although the higher-ups asked us to kill suspicious people, they didn't ask us to kill our brothers. Besides, you've already been tested. You're our brothers now. Let them go and take a good rest. We don't have to die." The 3 of them still couldn't believe it. They looked at each other, still in shock. It was only when they were unchained and left the secret chamber that peace gradually returned. In the secret passage, the 3 of them looked at each other from time to time, especially Lien Zhan and Li Suqing. They arrived at the skeleton sand sea first, so they were also tortured by the bandits. Fortunately, Su Fong came in time. The 3 of them colluded and killed the real bandits. That was how they survived. This mission was too dangerous. The 3 of them almost met the Grim Reaper as soon as they entered the nest. The 3 of them were taken to an underground palace. There were stone beds, fruits, and food. There were all kinds of bows and arrows everywhere, as well as poisonous things to feed the scorpions. When there was no one around, Lien Zhan and Li Suqing applied some ointment. Lien Zhan said in a low voice, "Next, we'll act secretly. First, we'll draw the secret passage of the nest. Then, we'll ask about the whereabouts of the treasure house. If we can't find it, we'll take the map out first. Let's act separately." Li Suqing and Su Fong nodded. Su Fong said, "I've memorized all the secret passages from the entrance to the punishment chamber." Lian Zhan was stunned. He didn't expect Su Fong's memory to be so good, especially under the threat of the bandits. "Then we'll use these secret passages as the main line and go deeper step by step." After resting for a while, the three of them began to look for food. They acted and talked like the bandits. They picked up food and ate it, then threw it away after eating half of it. The next day, Su Fong was called out by the bandits. It turned out that they wanted to assign him a task. He was responsible for patrolling a secret passage. It just so happened to provide Su Fong with the conditions. He began to draw a map of the nest in his mind based on the secret passages he had memorized. Although there was only one main line for the time being, there would be more and more connections in the future. Su Fong quietly recorded the secret passages every day. He even confirmed a few times that there were no mistakes. Then, he met up with Lian Zhan and Li Suqing. The three of them combined the maps they had drawn together. Half a month passed. Today, there's a ball at the Hall of Brotherhood. Those who are on duty should be on duty. Those who are free should go to the Hall of Brotherhood. Su Fong was patrolling the secret passage with a bow and arrow in his hand. At this time, a few bandits walked over and announced to the crowd that there would be a party tonight. This was the first time Su Fong had encountered a bandit gathering since he came to the nest. He had to go and take a look. The key was to determine how many bandits there were in the nest. At dusk, Su Fong rushed to the Hall of Brotherhood. The Hall of Brotherhood was very spacious. It seemed to be an underground palace that had been remodeled by the bandits. In addition, there were various gems embedded in the walls, making the Hall of Brotherhood look luxurious. It was completely unimaginable that there would be such a luxurious underground palace under the abandoned ancient city. After waiting for a while, Lian Zhan also arrived. There were more and more bandits, about 200 of them. A few powerful bandit leaders appeared in front of them. Their cultivation had reached the secret path realm. The other bandits were between the flesh body realm and the secret path realm. One of them shouted, "Bring the hot stuff first." Suddenly, beautiful women with half-exposed breasts appeared. They carried large bowls filled with fresh blood. The bandit leader raised his arm and shouted, "We caught a few spies from Tianmen province the day before yesterday. They killed many of our brothers in Tianmen province over the past few days and took our brothers' corpses as military achievements. We must drink their blood and eat their flesh. Everyone, don't be shy. Cheers! Human blood or the blood of Tianmen province disciples?" Su Fong's right hand trembled slightly, and he almost tipped the bowl over. If he really did, his head would be gone. He had no choice but to shout and muster his courage to drink half of the bowl of blood with Lian Zhan. At this time, the dancers brought over plates of meat. They were slices of meat that had been lightly drenched in oil and still had traces of blood. Some of them even had ear slices. He still mustered his courage and grabbed the meat slices in big bites and wolfed them down. As he ate, he shouted along with the bandit leader, saying that he would kill every disciple in Tianmen province. Su Fong paid close attention to the Hall of Brotherhood. There were passages in all directions. If they were not familiar with the terrain, the Flying Feather Army would charge in and the bandits would disappear without a trace. Your mission for the next few days is to clean up this ancient underground palace. The next day, a group of bandits gathered in a partially collapsed underground palace. Su Fong was among them. "Clean up this underground palace. We will build a secret passage here. I will give you 1 month's time." A bandit with a high cultivation level and a curly beard glared at the group. The bandits quickly moved the large pieces of rubble away. After the guards left, the group began to slack off. Su Fong had been paying attention to a few unfamiliar secret passages during this time and did not explore them for the time being. He worked carefully and looked around whenever he had time. The bandits were actually very disciplined. Someone was in charge of every secret passage. Ordinary bandits could not pass through. After a few days of work, 1/3 of the underground palace had been cleared. Some gold, silver, and jewels were buried under the rubble. There were also many ancient books. Someone shouted, "Quickly move these broken books away. There seems to be a map on the ground. Be careful not to damage it." Divine Map of Kingdoms. Su Fong was cleaning up the broken books on the ground when he inadvertently saw a carved map on the ground. It was called the Divine Map of Kingdoms. Although it was called a divine map, it was actually carved on the wall. A guard saw many people and was curious about the Divine Map of Kingdoms. He walked up and said, "It seems that this was once a city of the Star Dual Dynasty." The Divine Map of Kingdoms can also be seen in the Kulu Valley's branch altars. Look, there's the Black Earth Mountain Range and the Star Dual Sand Plains. Following this person's finger, they saw the Black Earth Mountain Range and the Star Dual Sand Plains. In the Divine Map of Kingdoms, these two territories were very insignificant. There is no Purple Cloud Mountain or Heaven Sect City. Su Fong found that the map did not have anything he was familiar with. However, he could still find the general location. In the general location of Heaven Sect City, there was only a name. It was not a name, but a dynasty. Purple Fortune Kingdom. There is no Purple Fortune Kingdom around Heaven Sect City. There is only Purple Cloud Mountain. Su Fong was very curious. He memorized the Divine Map of Kingdoms. Taking advantage of his rest time, he flipped through a large pile of books. There were also other bandits who were interested in the Star Dual Dynasty. When they were free, they discussed all aspects recorded in the ancient books. Star Dual Heaven Complete Records. Inadvertently picking up an ancient book, when he opened it, Su Fong was immediately attracted to everything recorded within. This was because this book recorded the establishment of the Star Dual Sand Plains, and it also recorded the other territories besides the Star Dual Sand Plains. He deliberately searched for the Purple Fortune Kingdom, and, as expected, he found records regarding the Purple Fortune Kingdom. Comparing it with the Divine Map of Kingdoms, Su Fong found that Heaven Sect City was indeed in the former Purple Fortune Kingdom. The Purple Fortune Kingdom was established by the Purple Fortune Kingdom's king, Su Yunxian. It has already been 300 years since his founding, and his family Su soon became one of the most powerful families in the world. After reading everything about the Purple Fortune Kingdom, he discovered that the Purple Fortune Kingdom's owner was a powerful family. It just so happened that they had the same surname, Family Su. The Purple Fortune Kingdom's king, Su Yunxian, used his formidable strength to establish an empire in the vast world where Heaven Sect City was located. However, the Purple Fortune Kingdom's records only existed for 500 years. 500 years later, the world was set off by the War of Kingdoms, and the Star Dual Dynasty was also involved in this war. Afterwards, this Star Dual Heaven Complete record was no longer recorded. It could be seen that the recorder wanted to continue recording, but in the end, his wish was not fulfilled. War of Kingdoms. No wonder magic weapon fragments appeared one after another at Purple Cloud Mountain. So it turns out that there was a war there. The Purple Fortune Kingdom has long since disappeared. It must have been destroyed by Su Yunxian in the war. Could it be that my family Su is related to the Purple Fortune Kingdom? It is impossible for us to have the same surname so coincidentally. I once heard grandfather say that the family Su was established a long time ago. Not long after Heaven Sect City was established, they moved into the city from other places. No one can clearly say where my family Su came from. It is extremely likely that they are the surviving descendants of the Purple Fortune Kingdom's family Su. Su Fong's heart suddenly brightened. He suddenly felt that his family Su was not simple. Chapter 51. There were no more detailed records of the Violet Fortune Kingdom, so he searched for the Zhao Kingdom. The Zhao Kingdom was located in Tianmen Province, a kingdom of cultivators. So, the Zhao Kingdom was established around the same time as the Violet Fortune Kingdom. They were both small kingdoms. Zhao Wuji, the founding emperor of the Zhao Kingdom, created the Zhao Kingdom. There were many records of countries in the ancient books. There were about 30 large and small empires and dynasties, but when he compared them to today's maps, he could not find any trace of these countries. The Star Dual Empire was a thing of the past. The Violet Fortune Kingdom had also disappeared from the map. The former territories of these two empires had become Tianmen Province. No, they had become part of the Zhao Kingdom. During the war between the kingdoms, it was very likely that the Zhao kingdom was the strongest. In the end, it conquered all the other empires and created the Zhao kingdom. Even the Tianmen province was controlled by the Zhao kingdom. According to my analysis, family Su was once related to the Violet Fortune kingdom. It was the Zhao kingdom that destroyed my family Su kingdom, turning everything into dust. After connecting all the dots, Su Fong was almost certain that the current family Su and the Violet Fortune kingdom of the past had some relationship. If this was true, then the Zhao kingdom had severely damaged the family Su and countless other kingdoms. In the end, the Zhao kingdom was the only one left on the new map. What kind of world is the Zhao kingdom? He continued to ponder and flip through the other ancient books. Su Fong was like this every day. He was full of curiosity towards the history of the Star Duel Sands, all for the Star Duel Empire's treasures, because he had the 7-star life-seeking sword. If he could obtain the Star Duel Empire's treasures, then the family Su could establish an empire in Tianzong City and recreate the glorious era of the Violet Fortune Kingdom. He had not thought of this before. Even if he was a disciple of Tianmen Province, he had cultivated in Tianmen Province for more than 2 years. Although he did not truly understand the strength of the Tianmen Province, he deeply felt the exploitation of outsiders and their own people by Tianmen Province. As a disciple, he was not willing to be a slave. Also, the family behind him could not always be at the mercy of Tianmen Province. Even a Lu family could ride on their heads. At least I want my family to live freely in a territory. I think grandfather, father, and uncle's wishes are the same. Time quickly passed. Su Fong had read all the ancient books, and he had a true understanding of the Star Duel Sands. The Star Duel dynasty was founded by a character named Shui Ping, who established a dynasty in this Star Duel Sand Plains. The former desert was not this vast. Shui Ping wanted to use the desert as a natural barrier to establish a world that stood aloof from worldly affairs. After spending several decades, she finally built a dynasty. In the middle of the Star Duel's sandy plains, there were more than a dozen cities and even more towns, but following the wars between countries, everything became ruins. Then, under the expansion of the desert, they were finally swallowed up. Last time I was dragged into the underground palace by the Shadowwall monsters. I'm afraid it was also built by the Star Duel dynasty. It seems that finding the Star Duel Empire's hidden treasure will not be easy. Both Red Swallow Mountain and Tianmen Province want to seize this hidden treasure, but they did not expect that of the 3 flying swords, one of them is in my hands. I will not watch as the treasure is divided among others. If any of them is strong, it will be disadvantageous to my family Su. Returning to the underground palace to rest, Su Fong suddenly made up his mind. Since he had the 7-star life-chasing sword, he had to think of a way to seize the treasure. In these 2 months, we have explored most of the secret passages, but we have no way of contacting the upper echelons of the bandits. We have not even seen boss Hong Yuetian's shadow. Hong Yuetian is exceptionally cunning. There are 2 forbidden areas that we cannot enter. He and the bandits' leader should be in these 2 forbidden areas, and the bandits' treasure is most likely in these 2 areas. Since it is impossible for us to come into contact with Hong Yuetian or even the bandits' leader with our identities, then we will not have a chance to do so in a short period of time. I think it is time to leave the Skeleton Sands Sea and meet up with the Lord. What do the 2 of you think? At a fork in the road, Lin Zhan, Li Suqing, and Su Fong had their backs against the wall and were meeting up on time. Lin Zhan nodded and said in a low and hoarse voice, "The longer we stay, the more danger we will be in. Moreover, we will not be able to obtain any useful information. Let's go. The sooner we leave, the better." Su Fong also agreed. There is a collapsed secret passage that is being built. We can take the initiative to help and quickly open it. Once it is opened, we will take the opportunity to leave. In the end, Li Suqing had no objections and disappeared into the depths of the secret passage. The next day, the 3 of them came to a busy secret passage. There were dozens of bandits who were busy digging and moving gravel. It was the time when they needed manpower the most. After the 3 of them joined, they began to work hard. This secret passage seemed to be another secret passage for the bandits to escape. The three of them also remembered the direction clearly. There are two stronger bandits guarding the exit. We will use a diversion tactic to lure them away. After working for a few days, the secret passage was finally opened. It was a full kilometer long. Under the dim light, it was hard to tell if it was day or night. Being in the underground world, it seemed like it was night every day. The three shadows carefully approached the exit of the secret passage. Finally, they saw some traces of sunlight coming in through a door. That was the exit to leave the bandits' lair. Two bandits who had reached a higher realm in the secret passage realm were guarding the two sides of the exit. They leaned against the wall listlessly. It seemed like this job was hard work for them. Ding dong. There were a few secret passages on both sides that were connected to the exit. Suddenly, there was a slight sound of collision. Who is it? This is a forbidden area. Who dares to come close? The commotion was very obvious, causing the two bandits to suddenly reveal nervous expressions. They blinked at each other as if they didn't want to move. However, they still came to a few secret passages and slowly patrolled them. Seizing the opportunity, Lian Zhan brought Li Suqing and Su Fong and quickly passed through the fork. With a push of his shoulder, the oval stone slab in the shape of a door slowly opened, revealing a 1-foot wide gap. The three of them flashed out one by one and closed the door again. It has been a long time since we saw the sun. The three of them sprinted across the desert and marked the exit of the secret passage. The feeling of seeing the sun again was wonderful. The three of them felt as if they were living again after a lifetime. They then struck out a hand seal. About 5 minutes later, they were already some distance away from the skeleton sand sea. Suddenly, two figures appeared in front of them. They stepped on flying swords and flew over. My lords, the three of them stopped to catch their breath. When they saw Qiu Lingji and Qi Xinshui on the flying swords, they finally heaved a sigh of relief. Be careful. Qiu Lingji and Qi Xinshui struck out Xian Guang at the same time, grabbing the three of them onto their sword auras. The flying swords buzzed, and the five of them immediately flashed into the air. Flying Sandcastle, the three of you have done a great service. With such a detailed map of the nest, my Flying Feather Army has an 80% chance of destroying the nest. In the hall, there were more than 10 Flying Feather Army martial experts guarding the two sides. Qi Xinshui and Qiu Lingji were studying the map and were praising Lian Zhan, Su Fong, and Li Suqing, who were standing in the center. Qiu Lingji kept the map. Senior brother, you stay here and arrange the troops. Junior sister, bring Lian Zhan and Su Fong back to Tianmen province. This matter cannot be delayed for more than 3 days. Otherwise, the bandits will definitely sense it. Li Suqing will follow me and tell all the brothers the details of the nest. Qi Xinshui nodded. Lian Zhan and Su Fong followed Qiu Lingji and left the hall. Qiu Lingji summoned her flying sword and carried the two of them out of the flying sandcastle, rushing back to Tianmen province. Tianmen province has sent the Flying Feather Army to guard the flying sandcastle. It is very likely that the Flying Feather Army has found the 3 7-star life-chasing swords. With the map of the bandit nest, Tianmen province will definitely take the opportunity to uproot the bandits. On the flying sword, under the control of Qiu Lingji's magic power, Su Fong did not have to worry about falling. At this speed, they would probably be able to rush back to Tianmen province in less than half a day. As expected, in the middle of the night, after passing through thousands of rivers and mountains, they finally saw Tianmen province shrouded in colorful light. Flying Feather Dojo, military strategy hal as soon as Tu Yi and a few of the higher-ups heard that Qiu Lingji had brought the two of them back, they rushed over in the middle of the night. In the main hall, they compared the map while listening to Lian Zhan and Su Fong talk about the inside of the nest. At this time, Lian Zhan bowed to Su Fong guiltily. My lord, we did not do a good job. After infiltrating for a long time, we were still unable to see the bandit leader Hong Yuetian, as well as the experts among the bandits. Tu Yuye waved her hand. Hong Yuetian has dominated the star dual sand plains for hundreds of years. His mind is very cunning. How about he let you see him? It seems that these two forbidden areas are where Hong Yuetian is hiding. From a map, the secret passages under the skeleton sand sea are indeed scattered all over the place. They are connected everywhere, and we can advance or retreat anywhere. We can only use the secret passages to launch a surprise attack. However, we do not have enough manpower. There are hundreds of bandits, and our flying feather army can only send out 70 to 80 people. The two of you go and rest first. We will go and ask the leader to come up with a plan for this matter. Only then can we finally take action against Hong Yuetian. There is no time to lose. Let's go. A few of the higher-ups and Xiao Lingji hurriedly left the main hall, flying deeper into the mountains. Lian Zhan and Su Fong finally had time to rest after settling this matter. Su Fong returned to the forest. At this time, the sky was already bright. He took a channel activation pill and immediately sat cross-legged to cultivate. He did not have the chance to cultivate for 2 months, and his cultivation was still stuck at the first layer of the secret passage. Little brother. In the afternoon, a spirit wind swept through the forest. Su Fong heard the commotion and came out to take a look. He saw Fairy He Bai Ling jumping down, her slender claws firmly grabbing onto a rock. She could not wait and said, Luo Mushue participated in the higher-ups meeting that just ended. Your flying feather army is about to make a big move. They said that they want to eliminate the bandit leader Hong Yuetian. She asked me to come and ask you if you have any other clues. Hong Yuetian is famous for being cunning. He does not allow ordinary bandits to get close to him. We only found most of the secret passages in the lair. We know nothing about Hong Yuetian. Draw a new copy of the map. Luo Mushue wants it urgently. Luo Mushue wants the map of the bandit's lair. Although he did not know why she wanted the map secretly, Su Fong still drew a new copy of the map and gave it to Bai Ling. Bai Ling hurriedly flew away. It seemed that Luo Mushue was not just concerned about the bandits. The Heavenly Gates Saintess also does not know how powerful Luo Mushue is in Tianmen province. Su Fong returned to the forest and continued to conserve energy. One day later, military strategy Hall Su Fong put on the black feather armor again. He finally had the aura of a secret passage cultivator. Yes, this is an expert from the Jade Heron tribe. To send reinforcements to the flying sandcastle, Su Fong came to the military strategy hall early in the morning. However, he saw an expert who did not belong to the flying feather army. Jade Heron tribe, Jade Heron army. That is, when he met up with Lian Zhan and the others, he suddenly saw that many people were looking at one person. When Su Fong saw that person's side profile, his breathing stopped abruptly. Lu Lan, you're also from Tianzong City. You must know Lu Lan. Lian Zhan saw that Su Fong was so shocked and surprised. She is a genius from Jade Heron Training Hall. I heard that she stepped into the secret passage realm much earlier than you. Furthermore, in Tianmen province, there are not many beauties who can compare to her. This girl is a natural beauty who can make men fall for her. Chapter 52. Lu Lan. He naturally understood more than Lian Zhan as he shifted his attention away from Lu Lan. Why did the Jade Heron army come to my flying feather Dao ground? This time, the flying feather army alone will not be able to deal with Hong Yuetian and the large number of bandits. The Jade Egret army will definitely participate. This time, Hong Yuetian's life is coming to an end. I heard that even the leader will personally take action. Leader Yang Zhongju. That's right. The Supreme Leader's strength has reached a level that we cannot even imagine. That's why the Flying Feather Army has officially mobilized all its forces this time. Some of the formidable martial artists guarding the other strongholds have also rushed back. This shows the importance Tianmen province places on the Star Duel's treasury. Su Fong began to remain silent, standing in the crowd without attracting any attention. On the other hand, Lu Lan, who was the center of attention, was emitting a charming halo. 2 hours later, a large number of experts summoned their flying swords. The Flying Feather Army and the Jade Heron Army stood on their flying swords in 2s and 3s as they left with Xiaolingji and the other higher-ups. Half a day later, at the Flying Sandcastle, it had been more than 2.5 days since Su Fong, 3 people returned from hiding. The leader is still one step ahead of us. At the Flying Sandcastle, dozens of people landed on their flying swords. Dozens of members of the Flying Feather Army had already gathered here. Qi Xinshui and a few other experts were busy dividing the map with the Jade Heron Army. The leader of the Flying Feather Army, Yang Zhongjue, seemed to have been in the Flying Sandcastle for a long time. He stood at the front, waiting for everyone to arrive. In just a short while, more than 150 powerful ones had gathered in the square. Most of them were from the Flying Feather Army, with 1/3 of them being from the Jade Heron Army. Every one of them was at the Secret Path realm, and some of them were probably at the Dharma Cave realm. According to the plan, once the signal is given, all the small teams will launch a surprise attack on the nest. Everyone, be careful. Our enemy, this time, is not an ordinary bandit leader, but Hong Yuetian. His cultivation is unfathomable. If you encounter him, don't fight him head-on. I will personally take care of him. Yes. Yang Zhongjue let out a thunderous roar. More than 150 people split into more than 10 small groups. They were led by experts like Xiaolingji and Qi Xinshui, respectively. They rode on their flying swords and flew out of the Flying Sandcastle. It was a magnificent sight. Under the leadership of Yu Junqi and Xiaolingji, the members of the Silver Moon team held their breaths, waiting for the arrival of a bloody battle. Our team will use individual soldiers and formations to kill the bandits. The conditions are acceptable. Try to use the Mount Tai Noble Spirit formation as the main force. The bandits are very cunning and good at using poison. Everyone must take the detoxification pill in time. The deeper they went into the desert, the more nervous they became. Xiaolingji and Yu Junqi gave each of them a red pill. This pill was called the poison-dissolving pill. It could dissolve or suppress most poisons. Seeing that they were about to reach the Skeleton Sand Sea, the 100 or so people split into a dozen or so small groups and began to spread out. They flew higher and higher, forming an encirclement. The yellow sand on the ground made it impossible to see what was happening in the sky with the naked eye. Let's wait for orders at the entrance of this secret passage. Finally, she arrived in the air above the abandoned ancient city ruins. Xiaolingji checked with the map, and then locked onto a stone house that was about to collapse. She stood on her flying sword and maintained a height of several hundred feet in the air as she waited. After an hour, the sky gradually darkened and cold air swept through the air. The tokens tied to their waists buzzed at the same time. Swish! Swish! 2 flying swords instantly carried them down to the bottom of the ancient city. In 3 breaths' time, the 6 of them jumped off the flying swords. Yu Junqi was the first to use his palm to hit the wall of the small house. Creak! The wall moved to the right, and a dark passage appeared in front of them. The 6 of them immediately nodded, and Xiaolingji and Yu Junqi entered side by side. Swish! Just as he entered the depth of one zhang, several poisonous arrows suddenly shot towards him. The bandits are already prepared. Be careful. Xiaolingji was indeed an expert. She immediately noticed the poisonous arrows and sent out a palm strike. With a few popping sounds, a few bandits fell from the bend in front of them. They were killed by Xiaolingji's strength. Everyone took out their weapons and rushed forward. Seeing the shadows of the bandits moving in front of them, Yu Junqi raised his hand and slapped his empty bag. With a sound, his flying sword pierced into the crossroads in front of them. Chi! Chi! In an instant, blood splattered everywhere as sword chi swept out. This was the power of the flying sword. When there was no more movement, the few of them came to the crossroads to take a look. 7 bandits were lying on the ground with fresh blood still flowing out. At this moment, 2 secret passages appeared in front of them. Xiaolingji decisively ordered, "Junior brother Yu, bring 6 Feng and Su Fong to the secret passage on the left. I will bring Lian Zhan and Li Suqing to the secret passage on the right. If we encounter a Dharma opening realm expert, retreat first. Let's go." Yu Junqi brought 6 Feng and Su Fong into the secret passage on the left. After a while, They came to another crossroads. Yu Junkie stared at Su Fong. Junior brother Su, do you remember these secret passages? Su Fong said, yes, the path in the middle leads to the bandit gathering hall. That's where the bandits rest. But, judging from the current situation, the bandits might have expected us to attack here. So, they must have set up an ambush in the secret passages. There are a few passages here that we have no choice. The three of us have to take one each. Remember Sir's words. If we encounter a powerful bandit, retreat first. Yu Junkie pointed to two secret passages. Su Fong and Six Feng immediately went into them. There's movement. After going a few feet deep, Su Fong heard movement. There were light footsteps and breathing sounds. He was alert. There should be 5 bandits lying in ambush at the crossroads ahead. His ears twitched. Using his perfection stage ability, Su Fong discovered the bandits in advance and prepared to cast a spell. He grabbed a rock and threw it forward. Bang! Shoot him to death. Xiao in the end, a few bandits jumped out from the shadows. They didn't care what he was and hurriedly shot poison arrows at him, causing a series of clashing sounds. Cloud Lion Roar. Forming a hand seal, 2 monster mouths immediately appeared outside of Su Fong's body. With a whoosh, they suddenly attacked the back of the 5 bandits. When the bandits felt something strange and turned around, they were all hit by the Cloud Lion Roar and knocked down. Sword Heart Finger. His left and right hands formed Sword Chi and locked onto 2 of the surviving bandits. They were also in the secret path realm, which was why they were not killed by the Cloud Lion Roar. The other 3 were only in the flesh body realm. Naturally, they could not withstand his spell and were torn apart by the Cloud Lion Roar. Poison Tail Needle. The 2 bandits leaped up. Their cultivation bases were higher than Su Fong's. Although they didn't have empty bags, they had strange cages tied to their waists. They slapped the cages, and poisonous needles shot out from them. Papa! Leaning his body, Su Fong stepped on the rock wall and flipped over to dodge the poisonous needles. However, the bandits continued to release poisonous needles at him. They grabbed their bows and arrows and formed arrows. They took the opportunity to attack Su Fong like a storm. Su Fong, this time, I, Six Feng, will kill you with my own hands. He could deal with the enemies in the open, but he could not see the eyes behind his back. In the secret passage a few zhang away, Lu Feng was using his sinister eyes to stare at the battle between Su Fong and the 2 bandits. At this moment, he stopped smiling and took out a pearl from his empty pouch. There were many black patterns on the bead. Bone Rotting Poison. Su Fong, I will make you die without a burial ground. Whoosh! Just as Su Fong was getting fiercer and fiercer and was about to reach the bandits, Six Feng suddenly flicked its finger and the Bone Rotting Poison bead shot out. It was like a dark star sneaking up on Su Fong from behind. However, the bead was not aimed at Su Fong. Instead, it was aimed at the wall. With a boom, it exploded. As the Bone Rotting Poison bead cracked open, a black gas suddenly sprayed out into the secret passage, enveloping Su Fong and the 2 bandits. At first, they could still hear some movement, but as the poisonous gas slowly disappeared, there was no sound at all. The Bone Rotting Poison was specially prepared for you. Now that you're the cult's favorite, I can only use this method to kill you. I don't want to get myself into trouble. Six Feng patted the bag on his waist again, and a flying sword appeared in his hand. It turned out that this person also had a magic treasure in secret. It was really hard to guard against. If he directly used the flying sword to sneak attack Su Fong, the latter would not be able to react. Killing with a breath, this was the power of the flying sword. The flying sword was like a weapon bestowed by the Grim Reaper, specialized in reaping the lives of cultivators. With the flying sword in hand, Six Feng carefully approached and saw Su Fong and the 2 bandits lying on the ground. Su Fong was covered in blood, and so were the bandits. It seemed like they had perished together with the bandits. Half of their bodies were entangled with the bandits' corpses. It could be seen that before they died, they were still fighting with the bandits. This is the result of going against my Lu family. Six Feng let down his guard and stared at Su Fong's corpse. He sneered, "My Lu family is the real overlord of Tianzong City. In the future, We will establish a dynasty and surpass the Violet Fate Kingdom 3,000 years ago. That's right, Su Fong. You will never know that your family Su is the descendant of the Violet Fate Kingdom's royal family. It is because of this that my Lu family is worried about the rise of the family Su. We have been secretly using all kinds of methods to suppress the family Su. However, since you are dead, you won't be able to see your family Su being exterminated again. So, you should thank me. You don't have to sync with your family Su. After saying that, Six Feng turned around and was about to leave. Suddenly, a cold, killing intent flashed in his eyes. Lu Ming asked me to do something. If I kill you, I have to make it up to him. He is the Lu family's crown prince in the future, so I have to do this for him. He grabbed the flying sword and prepared to finish off the dead Su Fong with another strike. Die. Unexpectedly, the dead Su Fong suddenly opened his eyes and clenched his right hand into a fist. He actually didn't die. Six Fong was so scared that he trembled. He hurriedly stabbed the flying sword towards Su Fong's neck. Chi. A sword light shot towards Six Fong from a nearby bandit's corpse at lightning speed. It was too fast. With a flash of the sword light, a stream of blood spurted out from Six Feng's neck. No. The flying sword in Six Feng's hand fell to the ground. He pressed his hands against his neck. Boom! Pushing away the bandit's corpse, Su Fong stood up. It turned out that he wasn't injured. Although his body was covered in blood, he was still full of energy. Six Feng, you try to kill me time and time again. Did you think that I didn't know that you were gravely mistaken? I know that you have been looking for an opportunity to make a move on me. This time, coming to the bandit's lair was the opportunity that you have been waiting for. I have crippled your lackey Han, Li's cultivation, and today you will die in my hands. My Lu family will not let you off, you little bastard. Six Feng died with his eyes wide open. Before he closed his eyes, he was still baring his fangs and brandishing his claws. I will let you die with your eyes wide open. He raised his hand, and 3 goo worms crawled out from his palm. Do you know why I wasn't poisoned? It is because of these 3 goo worms. With them, most poisons are useless against me. Thump! Six Feng's eyes widened. His hands were still pressed against his neck. Then, he fell to the ground and didn't move anymore. I have finally gotten rid of you, you scourge. The Lu family will definitely not let me off, but by then, I will have already grown into a giant. It won't be you who will destroy me, but I will destroy your Lu family. He took Six Feng's empty pouch and the flying sword. Then, he stuffed Six Feng's corpse into a dark hole. This way, he didn't die. Instead, he disappeared from this bandit's lair. Reckless. Chapter 53. Six Feng has always been mysterious. I wonder how many treasures he has in his empty bag. After hiding Six Feng's body, he recalled the scene when he saw the mysterious woman hiding the male corpse at Purple Cloud Mountain. He did not expect that he would do the same thing today. You want to kill me. If I don't fight back, wouldn't it mean that I don't want to kill you? You forced me to kill you. Su Feng retreated step by step. Kill. At this moment, a few bandits rushed out of the secret passage. When they saw Su Feng, they condensed poisonous arrows or released poisonous scorpions. He flipped backward and dodged the attacks. His hands made a series of hand seals. The energy from the first layer of the secret passage gushed out continuously and suddenly turned into 6 one-foot-long sword chi. You're courting death. Ultimate Phantom Sword Technique. Swoosh. Ultimate Phantom Sword Technique. This was the technique that Luo Mushue rewarded him with. After a period of cultivation, he was already familiar with this technique. Although it was a simple technique, it was very practical. The hand seals were not complicated, and the key was that it was easy to master. The sword chi was like a faint shadow, and the momentum was like a ghost flashing. As Su Feng made hand seals, the sword chi was like a crescent moon in the dark night, faster than the poisonous arrows, killing the bandits one by one. When I released the ultimate phantom sword technique, there is a strange sublimation in my mind. Could it be that there's a certain effect from using my dermic powers? Su Feng made hand seals again. A few sword chi floated and condensed in the air, piercing through the air toward the bandits who were still breathing and struggling to resist. In a moment, the surroundings of the secret passage flashed with colorful lights, but they were all from the sword chi. Every time the sword chi flashed, blood splattered everywhere. After a few breaths, the bandits were lying on the ground one by one. The crossbows of the bandits are too powerful. Although they are not spiritual treasures, they're stronger than cold iron. Collect all of them and give them to Uncle in the future to strengthen the foundation of our family Su. Su Fong was no longer the ignorant young man a few years ago. He was always full of things, and the surrounding crossbows and other weapons were all emptied into his empty bag. Boom! All of a sudden, somewhere in the underground palace, an earth-shattering explosion occurred. The tremors swept across the entire desert, shaking Su Fong so much that he almost fell down. Some of the secret passages began to collapse in a small area. This explosion came from the depths of the forbidden area. It seems like experts like Qi Xinshui and Qiu Lingji are fighting with the bandit leaders. The secret passage was almost buried by gravel and yellow sand. Seizing the opportunity, they rushed forward. Not long after, they saw some sand bandits buried alive. After passing through a few more secret passages, a furious voice suddenly sounded from afar. "Who are you?" Another cold voice appeared. "Who I am is not important. Hong Yuetian, you have moved unhindered in the Star Dual Sand Plains for many years. You are an intelligent person. So long as you do not cooperate with Crimson Swallow Mountain, then you are not my Tianmen province's enemy." When Su Fong heard this, he could not help but focus. Yang Zhongjue. So it was him who fought with Hong Yuetian. What do you mean by that? Can't you hear that Scarlet Swallow Mountain is protecting you? What they want is the 7 Stars Life-Chasing Sword, and my Tianmen province also wants the 7 Stars Life-Chasing Sword. Obediently hand over your sword to me, and I'll let you live. The conditions you gave are not very attractive. Do you think that with your strength, you can absolutely suppress this lord? Before I came, I had asked the higher-ups for an order. Hong Yuetian, as long as you hand over the 7 Stars Life-Chasing Sword to me, I will immediately allow you to build an immortal's abode within the borders of Tianmen province. You are the high and mighty abode master. This condition is not bad, but Scarlet Swallow Mountain promised me that if I hand over the flying sword to them, they will make me the second in command. Hong Yuetian, you have no choice. What do you mean this lord has no choice? You Tianmen province has always been superior to others, not putting anyone in your eyes. That Scarlet Swallow Mountain has already obtained a flying sword. As long as they obtain my sword and undo the seal, they will be able to sense the location of the 3rd flying sword. At that time, the Star Dual Dynasty's treasury will belong to the Scarlet Swallow Emperor. So what if you are the lord of Tianmen province? Hong Yuetian, I gave you a way out, but you did not choose it. You want to walk through the gates of hell. This one is the Flying Feather Army's leader, Yang Zhongjue. I am the personal guard of Tianmen province's lord. Today, I will take your head. What personal guard? Aren't you just a dog raised by Tianmen's Saint Emperor? Boom! Just as he finished speaking, a deafening impact came from the source of the sound. Boom! Boom! PFFF. He used his mental energy to activate his Great Circle ability. The impact was too sudden, and he could not seal his senses in time. As a result, the sound wave directly injured him. At the same time, large cracks began to appear around the secret passage, and there were already many sounds of the secret passage collapsing. Yang Zhongjue and Hong Yuetian are almost impossible to be Dharma opening realm experts. They are existences that have surpassed the Dharma opening realm. The battle is so terrifying. It seems like this bandit's nest will collapse soon. I have to escape. After consuming a channel activation pill, he still felt dizzy and his ears were ringing. His internal organs were also injured. Thinking about the 2 peerless experts fighting in the nest, he was afraid that many Flying Feather Army members and bandits in the underground palace would be buried alive under the yellow sand ancient city. Whoosh! He quickly ran to the other end of the secret passage. The back of the passage began to collapse, and large cracks also appeared in the secret passage in front of him. Su Fong looked for the exit according to his memory. When he was halfway through the secret passage, the front had already collapsed. He could not pass through it, and he could only choose another secret passage to escape. Along the way, he encountered a few more collapses. After turning back time and time again, Su Fong realized that he was lost and could not tell the direction. Now all the secret passages looked the same. They were either ruins or cracks that were about to collapse. Yellow sand kept falling from the cracks, blocking the secret passage. The bandit's nest is about 30 meters below the ground. If I'm buried underground, I will definitely die, unless I am a Dharma opening realm expert. Escape and ascend to the sky. This was the only thought in Su Fong's mind. Thus, when he saw a secret passage, he ran into it. He did not know how many secret passages he had passed. When he felt that there were not many explosions around him, he stopped and looked around. This was a secret passage that he had never been to before. Boom! After an hour, he finally reached the end of the secret passage. It looked like there was no way out, but he still punched the wall and created another underground palace. The underground palace was somewhat dark. He could vaguely see one or two gems releasing a faint luster. Su Fong took out a few gems from his empty bag and used the luster to gradually illuminate the surroundings. As it turned out, he had accidentally entered another underground palace. The underground palace was empty. There were two secret passages on the left and right sides. The ground was covered in a thick layer of dust. No one had been here for at least 1,000 years, and he could still feel a slight tremor under his feet. It must be the battle between Yang Zhongjue and Hong Yuetian in the Skeleton Sand Sea. The strong were the strong. Even nature could not stop their power. Fortunately, he was able to escape. Otherwise, he would have been buried alive under the nest. He hurriedly looked for a way out. He chose the underground palace passage on the right and carefully looked for a way out. Along the way, he passed by a few smaller underground palaces. The Starduel dynasty had once built many cities. Many cities had connected passages, and in the end, they formed a dynasty. After circling the underground palace for a full day, suddenly, Su Fong slowed down. He found that the secret passage he was in seemed to be extending to the ground. It was like a steep riverbed that inclined upwards. When he was about to reach the ground, he entered another underground palace. There was no way out of this underground palace. There was a way out, but unfortunately, it was buried by yellow sand. It seemed like part of the exit had already collapsed. I guess this place is not too far from the ground. Just like when I was trapped in the sand to a monster's nest, I can use the flying sword to force an opening. Thinking of this, he patted the bag, and the crystal soul sword flew out. Wait a minute. Just as he was about to activate the crystal soul sword from Luo Mushue and break through the ceiling of the underground palace, he suddenly pressed on the flying sword. Hong Yuetian once said that as long as the other two 7 stars life-chasing swords are unsealed or combined, I'll be able to sense the aura of the third 7 stars life-chasing sword. No matter if it is from Tianmen Province or the Red Swallow Emperor, they will sense the aura of the flying sword in my hand. They will definitely come to kill me immediately. Furthermore, I have nowhere to run. I can only be found by Tianmen Province or the Red Swallow Emperor. Now, I only have 2 choices. I will take the initiative to give the 7 stars life-chasing sword to Yang Zhongjue. This way, I can still make a great contribution. The remaining choice is to go against the 2 major forces and obtain the Star Duel Dynasty's treasure. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that it was a big problem. Hence, he turned around and left the underground palace. He destroyed the surrounding secret passages one by one, turning this place into a sealed space. Then, he returned to the underground palace. Luo Mushue is very powerful. She seems to be interested in the Star Duel Dynasty's treasure vault, but I don't know what this woman's purpose is. I must not use her power to deal with the 2 major forces. Master, if only you were here. You can give Fong some ideas. After calming down and analyzing for a while, Su Fong began to miss Yang Yizhen, the strong martial artist who had been through a lot. Unfortunately, distant water cannot put out a nearby fire. In the end, he still had to rely on himself. Fight for the great Tao. I need to be quiet. Su Fong suddenly thought of the fight for the great Tao that the mysterious woman in the ancient mirror taught him. That was a cultivator's heart sutra that he recognized. Maybe he could find something from it. After some time, Su Fong's eyes became more and more spirited. The heavens can be punished, and the earth can be destroyed. If the heavens block me, then I will destroy the heavens. If the earth blocks me, then I will burn the earth. The path of cultivation is the great Tao of all things. The path of the great Tao lies in the heart. If the heart is firm, it can stimulate the potential and break through all dangers. That mysterious senior is also very right. Cultivation is not about scheming, but about killing decisively. Cultivation is also not about being a coward and not being able to use it. Instead, it is about being decisive. Cultivation is not about being greedy for riches and honor, but about being clean and honest. Cultivation is not about living a long life, but about living every day well. Even if the road ahead is full of twists and turns and thorns, you have to move forward bravely and advance fiercely. So, the firm expression that he had when he rejected Yang Yizhen's request to reconstruct his meridians appeared on his face again. Master, I will rely on myself to find a way to survive. Tianmin Province and Red Swallow Mountain are not Daluo Golden Immortals or the 9 Underworld's gods. They are all cultivators with blood and breathing. I am not afraid of them. Courage and guts alone are not enough. I need a treasure that can suppress the strong. Otherwise, with my cultivation, how can I deal with them? After making a decision, he immediately activated the empty bag. With a flash of spiritual light, the empty bag that belonged to Altar Master Lung Feng and the ring that he obtained from the Shatuan monster's lair appeared in his palm. He had always wanted to open the empty bag to see how many treasures were inside. This was a gift for Hong Yuetian. Whoosh! After forming a seal, a large amount of spiritual light suddenly spurted out. Countless gems and a large number of spirit stones were first laid on the ground, followed by some demon beasts' inner cores, immortal pills, treasures, and a few jade scrolls. Oh my, what a rich man. I, Su Fong, have unintentionally become a landlord. Looking at the treasures that were piled up to a height of more than 10 feet, Su Fong was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth. These treasures were 100 times more valuable than his family Su. Especially the treasures, immortal pills, spirit stones, and jade scrolls were even more indescribable. Treasures. I want a powerful treasure that can be activated. First, he had to find a suitable treasure. Anyway, this sealed space was temporarily safe. Chapter 54. More than 30 artifacts. If I use them all to equip my family Su's martial force, it would be easy to unify Tianzong City. All the artifacts appeared in front of Su Fong. Most of them were flying swords. There were also a few illusion cloud ropes and empty bags. There were also some saber and spear artifacts. Most of them were flying swords. There were more than 20 of them, and they were all spirit artifacts. None of them were flesh artifacts like the immortal thorn armor. His gaze fell on the artifacts for a full 2 hours. Finally, he cleared the flying sword one by one. 22 flying swords. I have mastered the ultimate phantom sword technique and learned some tricks to controlling flying swords. Why don't I combine all the flying swords here and have a sword formation? With 22 flying swords, even a Dharma whole realm expert would find it hard to resist. Sword formation. The flying sword formation was not a spell, but a sword formation formed by artifacts. How powerful was that? He also cleared out the immortal pills. There were more than 300 channel relaxation pills and some other medicinal pills. He put the other treasures back into the empty bag and left behind a few jade slips. There were spells inscribed in them. If Hong Yutian or Red Swallow Mountain obtained them, they could definitely use these spells to control and restrain many lackeys. Cloud Lion's Roar, Heart Sword Finger, Dragon Snake Roll, and Ultimate Phantom Sword Technique. If I were to use them against the Heavenly Gates Prefecture, there would be a possibility that my identity would be exposed. I need to master a new technique. I don't need too many, just keep improving. I still want to cultivate the great giant diamond body, but unfortunately, my realm is too low. He released his thoughts and activated the jade slips one by one. Finally, he could not put down a jade slip in his hand. Flame-breaking finger. This spell is both a close-range and long-range attack spell. This is it. After choosing the spell, the 22 flying swords were also placed in front of him. He then grabbed 3 rune talismans and the ring. When he saw the rune talismans, Su Fong thought of Yang Yizhen. Master, this time disciple is going to compete with the 2 major powers. I will definitely be able to divide a portion of the treasures left behind by the Dual Star Dynasty. It is also a real opportunity to forge and cultivate. Even if the road ahead is full of thorns, disciple will not frown. Teleportation Talisman 1 talisman could teleport 10 li. This was Su Fong's true, life-saving treasure. Even if he encountered an expert like Yang Zhongjue, he might be able to escape alive. He bit his finger and dripped his blood into the ring and the 22 flying swords. The flying swords were ownerless. His right hand reacted to them, but it was not as strong as before. After all, as Su Fong reached the realm of Secret Path, he could slowly control part of the power in his right arm and suppress the aura inside. After the flying swords fused with the blood, they immediately released spiritual energy. Xiao, the 22 flying swords leaped up and let out ear-piercing sword cries. Such sword cries far surpassed the crystal soul sword. Magic treasures only need to be fused with blood. Without fusing with the internal restrictions, they can be directly activated with spiritual energy. It is already very difficult for ordinary people to activate 1 flying sword, but it is too difficult for me to activate 22 flying swords at once. Energy, I need more energy, or to increase my cultivation in a short period of time. Controlling so many flying swords all at once, not to mention the Secret Path realm, even the Dharma Insight realm would find it difficult. After catching his breath, he began to study the ring. The ring was found in the underground palace of the Shaoan monster's lair, along with the brute force spirit bow. When the blood dripped on the ring, it was quickly absorbed by the ring. It seemed that the ring was indeed ownerless. Su Fong immediately released his will and entered the ring. At this moment, the ring was shining, as if it was alive, releasing a bright light. Spirit Concealment Ring. Many restrictions appeared in his mind, and 3 ancient words floated among them. Fortunately, Su Fong could understand them. Spirit Concealment Ring was the name of this storage ring. As he went deeper into the space, there were too many restriction handprints. There were no more words inside, but countless array seals. He could only grasp these handprints and remember them one by one. With his current cultivation, he was unable to truly see through the Spirit Concealment Ring. But once he grasped the handprints, he could activate the Spirit Concealment Ring. Su Fong did not know the power of the Spirit Concealment Ring, so he tried to use a handprint, and at the same time, poured some spirit energy into the Spirit Concealment Ring. Buzz after forming the handprint and activating the spirit energy, the Spirit Concealment Ring suddenly flashed and appeared on Su Fong's finger. Starting from Su Fong's finger, palm, and arm, it slowly disappeared. Could it be that the Spirit Concealment Ring has the ability to become invisible? Su Fong was pleasantly surprised to see a part of his body disappear, but he felt that the concealment speed had slowed down, so he urged more spirit energy. Sure enough, his whole body was hidden. Su Fong could not even see his own body, but he could clearly feel every part of it. Treasures. I actually accidentally picked up a great treasure. Once I hide it, not only will my enemies not be able to see it, I can even silently kill them. However, while I'm hiding, I also have to suppress my breathing and aura. Cultivators don't even need to use their eyes to sense dangerous auras. Retracting his spirit energy, his body suddenly appeared, and activating his spirit energy, his body disappeared again. After going back and forth a few times, Su Fong's eyebrows were full of sweat. At this time, he found that the amount of spirit energy consumed by activating the Spirit Concealment Ring was about the same as activating the 22 flying swords. Priced with a cultivation base that could not reach the level of a magic treasure. Forcibly activating a magic treasure would inevitably consume spirit energy. This was the price Su Fong had to pay to activate the spirit concealment ring. Although it was a bit imperfect, he still had an excited smile. With this magic treasure, he would have more means to compete with the strong. If my cultivation base is not enough, then I will use magic treasures to make up for it. He immediately put away the 22 flying swords and took a channel relaxation pill. As for the spirit concealment ring, he could not see its shadow at all. It was hidden on his finger, and only by activating it could it show its true body. Now what I need to do is to raise my cultivation base and store energy. In the desert, I will use the Origin Sacred Mirror to cultivate, and the energy will be rolling. In addition, I will kill Shadowwall monsters to condense energy seeds. The Dual Dynasty's treasury will certainly have a share of my Su Fong. He stood up in a split second and patted the bag at his waist. With a buzz, a flying sword shattered the top. With a rumble, the sun and yellow sand poured down at the same time. Su Fong grabbed the flying sword and jumped up, flying out of the yellow sand and finally returning to the ground. Looking around again, he could not see the shadow of the skeleton sand sea. He was worried that Yang Zhongjue would get the 7 stars life-chasing sword and then unseal it. Sensing the aura of his flying sword, he ran into the depths of the desert. Skeleton Sand Sea, it was no longer as mysterious as it used to be. Pieces of broken rocks and city walls protruded from the yellow sand. This place had become a ruin. In a desert not far away, dozens of bandits were bound by the illusion cloud rope and exposed to the sun. Qi Xinshui suddenly walked over and ordered the Flying Feather Army, "Kill these bandits. Leave no one alive." TSK. TSK. With a raise of his hand, the Flying Feather Army did not even frown. One after another, scalding heads fell into the yellow sand. Not far away, there were more than 20 Flying Feather Army corpses and more than 10 Jade Heron Army martial artist corpses. It seemed like Tianmin Province had also suffered heavy losses. Xiao Lingji was covered in blood. She brought Yu Junqi, Lin Zhan, and Li Suqing to Qi Xinshui and said, "Senior brother, I have roughly figured it out. There's still more than 10 people missing, including 2 members of my Silver Moon team. The nest collapsed, so it's impossible for it to be completely blocked down there. Perhaps there are still some survivors, but we have no way to save them. Right now, all the secret passages have been blocked. Whether or not they can survive will depend on their luck." After Qi Xinshui heard this, his expression immediately froze. Just as he was about to continue speaking, he suddenly turned to the side and said, "Senior brother Yao." More than 10 Jade Heron Army soldiers were led by a middle-aged man and walked towards Qi Xinshui. Lu Lan was among them as well. The man cupped his fist towards Qi Xinshui and Xiao Lingji. "My Jade Heron Army still has a few brothers who have lost their whereabouts. I hope the 2 of you can put in more effort and try your best to rescue them. It is also possible to find their corpses. There is also a junior brother in your army named Lu Feng. He is from the same clan as my junior sister Lu. I hope you can find him as well. My Lu clan cannot die here for nothing." Unexpectedly, before the other party could reply, Lu Lan took 2 steps forward. His exquisite craftsmanship had a cold aura. Yu Junqi was enraged. "What status do you have? Is there a place for a new disciple like you to speak? What status do I have?" Lu Lan suddenly became even more domineering than before. He was like a cold moon high up in the sky and had an aura that didn't belong to the mortal world. "If your Flying Feather Army doesn't give me an explanation, the Jade Heron Army will no longer cooperate with you in the future if the Flying Feather Army has any requests. Senior brother Yao, this junior sister's intentions are also your intentions." Qi Xinshui didn't seem to be moved. He just looked at the middle-aged man. "Brother Qi, junior sister Lu, is related to an important figure. This important figure is the current prefecture lord, and he will also give in to her. You better find Lu Feng's corpse. If he is alive, I want to see him. If he is dead, I want to see his corpse. This is a very normal request. Otherwise, I am afraid the Jade Heron Army's leader will step forward and speak to your army's leader directly. Goodbye." The man politely led Lu Lan and left. An important figure that even the prefecture lord will give in to. Qiu Lingji looked at Qi Xinshui and said, "Even a small Lu clan can turn things around. Junior sister, let's work together with a few experts and use Lu Feng's command token's aura to sense the situation. Even if we have to expend a lot of energy, it will still be better than letting the leader step forward." I understand Yao Shua's character very well. Hence, Lu Lan does indeed have an unusual relationship in Tianmen province. We cannot make things difficult for the leader. Let's go. After speaking, the two experts led a few powerful flying feather army experts and flashed towards the center of the nest ruins. Far away, the Jade Heron Army's man, named Yao Shua, pointed at the desert ruins and said to Lu Lan, "Junior sister, you can rest assured. With Qi Xinshui's cultivation that is close to the mystical power realm, there's a high chance that he will be able to find your brother." Lu Lan was still cold and elegant. The Flying Feather Dojo's strength is indeed comparable to my Jade Heron armies. They are close to the mystical power realm. In Tianmen province, other than the leader and the higher-ups in the inner circle, how many people are at the mystical power realm? Senior brother Yao, I will have to trouble you today. Junior sister, even the leader made an exception to nurture you. You were even personally received by the prefecture head. In the future, I, Yao Shua, will still have to rely on junior sister. Junior sister's matters are my matters as well. A higher-up of the Jade Heron Army, an existence like Qi Xinshui, was actually treating a seedling that had just entered Tianmen province like a servant treating a master and was praising her endlessly. Senior brother has taken care of me along the way. In the future, if junior sister has the ability, I will definitely give senior brother a better way out. Lu Lan didn't stand on ceremony. She didn't know what kind of influential figure was backing her up for her to be so domineering. Boom! In the nest ruins, there was a sudden burst of flames that soared into the sky. Illusion cloud rope. Qi Xinshui and Qiu Lingji brought Yu Junqi and the other experts to stand beside the surging sand layer. They gathered everyone's strength and grabbed at the collapsing whirlpool. A golden light rushed out. Crash! The illusion cloud rope wrapped around a corpse that didn't look like a human and flew out from the collapsing sand layer. Six Feng is indeed dead. The corpse landed on a piece of rock. Qi Xinshui and Qiu Lingji surrounded it and took down the command token to verify it. Qi Xinshui then started to inspect the corpse. Not only did he have to confirm Six Feng's identity, but he also had to confirm his approximate cause of death. Author's words, after New Year's Day, there are many people everywhere. I might as well stay at home and watch TV. Chapter 55. Senior Apprentice Brother. Looking at this sword wound, Six Feng should have been ambushed by someone using a flying sword. Qiu Lingji finished inspecting the wound and finally had an answer. Qi Xinshui also confirmed the wound and calmly said, Six Feng's cultivation is at the third stage of the secret path realm, and his cultivation has improved by leaps and bounds recently. Previously, I did not know what kind of fortuitous encounter he had, but from Lu Lan's appearance, Lu Lan must have given Six Feng a lot of benefits, allowing him to improve by leaps and bounds. We do not care about that. Since the corpse has been found, bring this person to the Jade Heron Army's camp. Treat this person well, or else you will suffer when you reach the Jade Heron Army. Do it. The three immediately carried Six Feng's corpse and left the ruins. I wonder who will win in the end between the leader and Hong Yuetian. The leader has reached the transcendent realm and is a famous expert in Tianmen province. He is on par with the 8 directional cave masters. Even if Hong Yuetian is not simple, he will not be the leader's opponent in the end. Let us clean up the battlefield. The two higher-ups also turned and left. In the depths of the Star Dual Desert, there is already a long distance away from the Skeleton Sand Sea. This desert should belong to another group of bandits. Under the scorching sun, a figure stepped on the yellow sand and flew over. It was as if he was running in flames, his entire body emitting a faint crimson aura. After several days of continuous travel, Su Fong was already far away from the skeleton sand sea, and directly in front of him, behind the desert, was Red Swallow Mountain. There was a famous expert there, the Red Flame Emperor, who had repeatedly opposed Tianmen Province. He was an existence that Tianmen Province had always wanted to deal with and eliminate. There are many bandits here, and the terrain is complicated. Even if Tianmen Province and Red Swallow Mountain can sense the aura of this flying sword on my body, they will not be able to pinpoint my location in a short period of time. I can use this place to pass off as a fake. After comparing the map, Su Fong no longer moved forward and began to search for a place to stay in the vast desert. Shadow of monsters. Several whirlpools suddenly appeared in front of him, and the desert whirlpools devoured each other. Su Fong was very familiar with this, but he rarely encountered Shadow Wall monsters killing each other. Suddenly, he smiled proudly and raised his hand. The Origin Sacred Mirror appeared in his hand. He immediately faced one of the yellow sand vortexes and released the 9 Yang Zhen Qi condensed from the immemorial Yang Zhen Qi in his body. With a buzz, a red light swept toward the yellow sand vortex. The primordial chaos saint seemed to be entangled by gravity. Su Fong exerted his strength, and with a boom, a sand tuan monster was pulled out of the whirlpool along with the yellow sand. The Shatuan monster trembled as it was entangled by the red light, unable to move at all. Su Fong immediately activated his 9 Yang True Qi and quickly poured it into the red light. No one knew what he was going to do. Huqi, the 9 Yang True fire, instantly enveloped the Shatuan monster, and the flames were slowly absorbed by the ancient mirror. If I can control a Shaoan monster and use it as my mount, then I can freely travel under the desert. In that case, Tianmen Province and Red Swallow Mountain won't be able to do anything to me. It turned out that the reason he wanted to control the primordial chaos saint was to capture a Shatuan monster to use as a mount to travel under the desert. Unfortunately, the primordial chaos saint was not something he could easily control. In the end, the Shatuan monster was burned to death and a huge bead appeared. Su Fong swallowed the bead in one gulp. Now is the time to raise his realm. The energy contained in a bead was enough to make the 9 Yang Zhen Qi in his body powerful and majestic. In just a few beads, he would be able to break through to the second layer of the secret passage. He then pointed the ancient mirror at a yellow sand whirlpool at the side, and sure enough, he pulled out a Shatuan monster. Su Fong patted his empty pouch, and a flying sword struck the immobilized Shatuan monster. Blood instantly dripped onto the yellow sand, and Su Fong even deliberately let the blood spread out. In this way, the surrounding whirlpools surrounded him. I need to find a powerful Shatuan monster. It's best if it's an existence that has cultivated into a spirit and can be controlled as a mount. It can also become a power in my hands. As a mount, he had to think of ways to use his own advantages to strengthen his own power. He controlled the 9 Yang Zhen Qi to control the red light released by the ancient mirror. This time, it was delayed for a while before he finally released the 9 Yang Zhen Qi to burn the Shatuan monster. This meant that it was possible to control the primordial chaos saint. At the very least, he could delay it for a while. At this moment, because of the blood, more than 20 yellow sand vortexes appeared in front of him. When he suddenly looked over, this desert had already become a vacuum that swallowed everything. Su Fong was shocked. Whatever, he began to look for the biggest whirlpool. The bigger the movement and the bigger the area, the more powerful the Shatuan monster hidden below. Got it. A huge whirlpool suddenly appeared behind the swaying desert vortex. The yellow sand was stirred up and scattered. The area of the whirlpool was twice as big as the surroundings. Su Fong waited for the whirlpool to get closer. When it was about 15 meters away, he immediately pointed the ancient mirror at the whirlpool. Red light surged out, as if even the ancient mirror felt that this Shatuan monster was somewhat different. With a powerful wave, a huge Shatuan monster was lifted up by the ancient mirror from the yellow sand. This Shatuan monster was twice as big, and was almost 30 meters long. The soft armor on its body was also the same color as the yellow sand. It was unknown how heavy it was, but Su Fong, who was controlling the ancient mirror, couldn't feel that much weight. The moment the shadow monster appeared, it began to struggle. In the end, it couldn't move at all. Its eyes were filled with fear as it begged Su Fong for mercy. "Human, let me go, let me go. That artifact in your hand is about to make my body explode." As expected, it was a Shatuan monster that had become a spirit. Its strength was very terrifying, and it was at least an expert on the same level as Qi Xin Shuai and Xiu Lingji. "I can let you go, but you have to be my mount in the future. How about it?" The Shadowwall monster agreed. Sure. Quickly stop that ancient mirror. My energy is almost being sucked dry by it." Buzz. Su Fong immediately spat out even more Nanyang Qi and blocked the red light before pouring it into the ancient mirror. He then moved the surface of the ancient mirror so that it was no longer facing the Shadowwall monster. After spending a lot of effort, the Shadowwall monster fell to the ground with a rumble. The ancient mirror also returned to Su Fong's hand, and the red light was no longer there. Tut. Who knew that the rescued Shadowwall monster would not be willing to be a human's mount? It hurriedly drilled into the yellow sand. "I will not let you go." It seemed like Su Fong had already expected the Shadowwall monster to make such a move. He pointed the surface of the mirror at the Shadowwall monster again. Half of the Shadowwall monster's body drilled into the yellow sand. When a majority of its body was also buried in the yellow sand, a buzzing sound was heard. The red light shone on the yellow sand layer where the Shadowwall monster was and restrained it. Human, I was wrong. Let me go." Under the sand layer, the Shadowwall monster's desperate begging sounded. The Shadowwall monster was lifted up from the yellow sand again. "I will let you go. I will implant my power into your inner core to control you. If you are not willing, then don't blame me for being impolite." Fine. The Shadowwall monster was truly subdued this time. Su Fong also had to seize the time to condense a large amount of Nanyang Qi. The Shadowwall monster also cooperated and released a demonic light from its lower abdomen. A blood-red inner core floated out. Hiss! The instant the Nanyang Qi poured into the inner core, it collided with the demonic Qi and then forcefully poured into the golden core. The Shadowwall monster did not dare to stop it, and could only watch as Su Fong's strange energy entered the inner core. From now on, the Shadowwall monster would have to resist this Nanyang Qi and be tortured by it. Su Fong once again released his Nanyang Qi to cover the ancient mirror and once again forcibly rescued the Shadowwall monster from the red light. This time, the Shadowwall monster was well behaved. "Master, move that magical treasure away. I'm afraid just looking at it. If it shines on me again, I'll lose control of my body." The Shadowwall monster was like a soft worm lying on the yellow sand, dispirited. "Let me tell you, my energy is inside your inner core. It will constantly devour your demonic Yang Qi. Yang Qi also represents life energy, so it is equivalent to absorbing your lifespan. If you are obedient, I can even help you suppress your Yang Qi. No wonder when that magical treasure shines on me, I feel like my body is being sucked dry, boiling, and exploding. Master, I will be loyal to you." The Shadowwall monster expressed its sincerity. Since he cultivated Yang Qi, Su Fong had searched for all kinds of information regarding Yang Qi. Only then did he learn that Yang Qi was everything to life. The stronger the Yang Qi, the more powerful the life force and the longer the lifespan. The Nanyang Qi he cultivated was also a kind of Yang Qi. By injecting his Nanyang Qi into the Shadowwall monster's inner core, he could absorb the monster's life energy, causing the monster's organs to fail and die. Shadowwall monster, you will often follow me around in the future. Once I summon you, you will have to hold me in your mouth and travel through the sand. This is a meridian loosening pill, your reward. Su Fong took out a meridian loosening pill, and it was a very high-grade meridian loosening pill, and fed it to the Shadowwall monster. Then, he took out the Chaos Sacred Mirror and shone it at a yellow sand whirlpool beside him. He easily pulled out the other Shadow monster and quickly burned it to ashes. When the Shadow monster saw how powerful Su Fong was, it trembled in fear. Su Fong found a rock and pointed the primordial chaos sacred mirror at the two suns in the sky. Soon, primordial yang qi seeped out from it. Su Fong then refined the two energy beads he had consumed. The 9 yang true qi surged fiercely in his meridians. The yang meridian is not easy to condense. The main reason is that I am unable to control the meridians in my body. If I can control the meridians perfectly, I can concentrate the 9 yang qi to attack the meridians and finally cultivate the yang meridian. Several days passed in the blink of an eye. Bang, without any warning, a burst of energy suddenly exploded in Su Fong's body. Impurities surged out from his pores. At this moment, Su Fong's aura revealed 2 layers of weak energy. Second layer of the secret passage. At the same time, the power of the breakthrough surged into his head at lightning speed. White smoke rose from the top of his head. Su Fong felt that his consciousness was about to fall into a deep sleep due to the impact of this energy. The secret passage realm cultivated the divine aperture and magic power. Every time he advanced, the power of the breakthrough would bring all the nutrients in his body to attack the divine aperture in his head, causing his magic power to condense. Under the impact, Su Fong felt a faintly discernible passage appear in his mind. This passage seemed to be a bridge between the human body and nature. The aura inside was broad and profound, as if every strand could activate any magic treasure. Magic power. Could this be the divine aperture and magic power? What was the divine aperture and magic power like? Su Fong had never felt it before, but under the sweeping power of the breakthrough, he suddenly felt something. After a few hours, his physical body stopped the impact. He immediately checked the changes in his body. In fact, the changes were not too obvious. Only his meridians were slightly larger, and his 9 yang qi was purer. Buzz, suddenly there was an impact deep in his right arm, as if it was absorbing the energy that Su Fong had just improved. I've been focusing on cultivating the 9 yang 9 transformations, so I didn't pay attention to the purple light in my right arm. Just now, it absorbed a part of the energy. It seems that it is silently undergoing some changes. After thinking, he swallowed the bead that was condensed from burning the Shadow monsters. Yang Qi began to sweep through his entire body. With his sea of Qi as the center, the more mysterious 9 Yang Qi absorbed the energy of the bead and surged into his bones and skin. Buzz! All of a sudden, his empty pouch started to vibrate as if it was not under his control. There was a faint movement coming from the inside. Chapter 56. How could there be movement in the empty bag? His brows suddenly furrowed. He slapped the bag, and a sword qi buzzed out. It turned out to be the 7 Stars Life Chasing Sword. Su Fong did not activate the 7 Stars Life Chasing Sword, but the 7 gems on the flying sword flickered with a peculiar luster, causing Su Fong to hastily absorb the flying sword into the empty bag. Tut-tut. A whirlpool appeared in the desert ahead. The yellow sand quickly parted, and the Shatua spirit quickly crawled out. The ladder flashed, and the Shatua spirit also opened its mouth, sucking Su Fong into its mouth and hastily burrowed back into the sand. Inside the Shatua spirit's mouth, Su Fong sat cross-legged. The Shatua spirit curiously asked, "Master, could there be danger?" Su Fong patted the Shatua's monstrous teeth. "Don't dive into the sand for now. See if there are any cultivators on the surface." The desert whirlpool slowly twisted, and a pair of blood-red, demonic eyes appeared, slowly turning left and right. After about half an incense stick's time, the demonic eyes suddenly contracted. HU. A group of cultivators suddenly appeared in the sky. These cultivators each stood on flying swords, wore armor, or wielded all kinds of divine weapons. As they flew across the desert, they stared at every movement on the ground. As expected, there are many cultivators, more than 20 of them. Do you recognize them? I recognize them. These people's clothes are embroidered with a swallow. They are cultivators from Red Swallow Mountain, and each and every one of them is very powerful. Several of them have reached very high realms of the magical realm, and one of them is even at the divine ability realm. Could the divine ability realm be above the magical realm? Yes, the divine ability realm is a true divine ability cultivator. Their magic power is boundless, and one palm strike can kill little me. In several breaths, several dozen breaths, they can fly across the star dual sand plains. Regardless of whether it is in Tianmen Province or Red Swallow Mountain, or even this star dual sand plains, the divine ability realm is the absolute overlord. Let alone the divine ability realm. Even a magical realm is very powerful. What is your cultivation? Little me is at the magic hole 6 stage. In this desert, as long as I do not leave the desert, even divine ability realm experts can't do anything to me. Leave this desert and find a complicated place to release me. To think that Scarlet Swallow Mountain's powerhouses would rush over so quickly. Su Fong sensed that the Chateau Goblin was moving. His right hand had been pressing on the empty bag. The 7 Stars Killer's sword had reacted. It was very likely that the other 2 flying swords had been unsealed. The owners of the 2 flying swords had sensed the existence of the 3rd flying sword, which was his existence. Silent for a moment, Su Fong had to think of a way to increase her strength. Chateau spirits. Where are the gathering grounds of demon beasts in the vicinity of the star dual sand plains? The more, the better. The Chateau demon answered, south of Scarlet Swallow Mountain, there's a flaming mountain. A large number of demons gather there all year round. This flaming mountain is called the Red Palm Volcano because it looks like a human's palm. After going through the map in his mind, Su Fong asked again, that's the Red Palm Volcano. I know about the flaming mountain as well. Why are there so many demons there? I don't know what kind of treasures are inside the Scarlet Palm Volcano. Occasionally, the volcano will erupt and fire elemental treasures will gush out. It's very suitable for demons to cultivate. Some powerful demons stay there all year round, waiting for the volcano to erupt again and again. That's especially true of a black flame monster. Black flame monster. I heard that guy's cultivation is very profound. I don't know what kind of treasure it obtained inside the Red Palm Volcano, but it broke through to the divine realm and practically became the king of the Red Palm Volcano. Even the cultivators of Scarlet Swallow Mountain do not dare to go there. I also heard that the Scarlet Swallow Emperor once fought with the Black Flame Monster, but he was unable to defeat it. Impossible. Master, this world has many powerful big goblin. Some big goblin can transform into human form. Even the Lord of Tianmen Province is not a match for those exceptional big goblin. Then bring me to the Red Palm Volcano. Master, I am unable to leave the desert. Just bring me to the edge of the desert. This time, I want to charge into the Red Palm Volcano. You should know what I want to do. The Shadow demon trembled and said in fear, Master has that strange mirror. If you encounter a black flame monster, it can suppress it. Master wants to subdue the black flame monster or enter the Red Palm Volcano to seize that legendary treasure. You are quite smart. Even the Chateau demon knew his goal of going to the Red Palm Volcano. Master must be careful. Your magic weapon seems to be unable to deal with all demons at the same time. That black flame monster must have subdued many demons. I will see if there's a chance. If not, I will deal with the ordinary demons. Su Fong has own plans. In fact, he only wanted to burn and kill a large number of ordinary demons. As for that black flame monster, if he could deal with it, then he would deal with it. If he could not, then so be it. In any case, if he could win, then he would fight. If he could not win, then he would flee. Increasing his strength was the way to go. About 2 hours later, Su Fong heard the sound of wind. The Chateau demon immediately opened its mouth. Su Fong took a step forward. As expected, there was a large forest in front of him. Grabbing the 7 Stars life-chasing sword, he handed it to the Chateau demon. This is the 7 Stars life-chasing sword. The Scarlet Swallow Mountain's experts are looking for it. Take the flying sword and wander around the star dual sand plains. Wait for me to return, and I will summon you." The Shadawa demon immediately burrowed into the yellow sand and disappeared. Su Fong dashed through the forest. A few days later, he saw a large palm pressing down on a flame. Scarlet Palm Volcano. I never imagined there would be such a place of uncanny craftsmanship. Passing through the last mountain range, Su Fong already arrived at a land full of volcanic ash. Looking from here, he could not see any plants. The volcanic ash had swallowed everything. Stepping on the volcanic ash, he ran towards the burning mountain range in front of him. He could not see any human figures in the surroundings. When he arrived at the mountain range, he immediately felt a heat wave from the depths of the mountains. Each mountain peak seemed to be burning, and the mountain sides were filled with layers of black smoke that did not disperse all year round. Wu, just as he arrived at a small mountain, he estimated the temperature to be close to 60 degrees. Suddenly, a large expanse of volcanic ash rose up in front of him, accompanied by the cries of demons. Su Fong cheerfully sized up the area in front of him. "This is great. I can encounter a demon beast as soon as I arrive. I'll burn and kill one first. I'll take the chance to break through the third layer of the secret passage and grasp even stronger magic energy." Whoosh whoosh. Just as he was about to act, several golden lights flashed from the volcanic ash. It was unexpectedly the illusion cloud rope. Immediately, several demon beasts rolled out, and several cultivators attacked from behind. Like butchers, they controlled their flying swords to cut the demon beasts into pieces and took out red inner cores. These inner cores were very special and seemed to be able to release flames. We killed 3 lesser demons under the black fire monster. These demons have been absorbing the fire elemental spirit chi spewed out from the back of the mountain all year round. Even their inner cores have gradually become fire elemental spirit chi. They're too valuable. These inner cores are very valuable. We should leave. If the black fire monster really gets angry, he'll cut us into pieces. Let's hurry down the mountain. After the cultivators obtained the inner cores, they discussed for a while and went straight down the mountain. So these people are here to hunt demons and obtain their inner cores. Inner cores were treasures that every disciple in Tianmen province wanted to have the most. With them, they could give them to Tianmen province and obtain military merits. Step by step, they would become the upper echelons of Tianmen province. These few inner cores were enough to exchange for empty bags or spirit treasures. For ordinary cultivators, it was undoubtedly a fruitful trip. Whoosh! Su Fong took the opportunity to summon the primordial chaos, sacred mirror, and shone it at the demon corpses. After a burst of red light, the Nine-Yang true fire burned the corpses to ashes and finally condensed into an energy bead. The Dath surroundings were densely covered in black smoke. Just as he was about to continue searching for monsters, a sudden collapse came from the black smoke world on his left. It was as if the mountain had collapsed. It was as if an army had suddenly woken up from a deep sleep, broken through the seal, and shattered the coffin. They were stepping on the huge mountain towards Su Fong. Such a movement caused Su Fong's pupils to shrink. He looked behind him and saw a cave. With a few steps, he nimbly slid into the cave. He stopped breathing and raised his head. From the scattered volcanic ash, he saw huge monsters appear. Hula! The volcanic ash rolled away. The monsters had ruthless eyes and murderous auras as they advanced toward the burning mountain peaks in the distance. Their footsteps were orderly, just like a monster army. There were about 60 monsters of different sizes. They breathed out time and time again, as if they were spitting fire. Their shoulders and heads were also covered in a layer of flames. Su Fong stared at such a rare demon army with a shocked expression. The Shadawa demons were right. This is indeed the territory of monsters. Roar, roar. The king wants us to surround and kill that human. We can't delay. Otherwise, the king will eat us all. A hoarse and fierce demon roar came from among them. Human. After hiding for a while, when he could no longer hear the footsteps, Su Fong immediately crawled out of the cave and rushed in the direction where the demons came from. After passing through the mountainside, Su Fong saw a cave formed by the collapse. It was called a cave, but it was actually a cave. He did not know where it led to. Thinking of the collapsing and shattering sounds he heard before, it seemed that the demons had killed their way out of this cave. In the end, when they rushed out, they caused the surrounding cliffs to collapse, causing the cave to appear in Su Fong's line of sight. Boom, boom, the mountain range suddenly shook again. This time, it was not a collapse. Instead, it was the peaks of the Red Palm volcano that were surrounded by flames that suddenly spewed out a large amount of magma. The center of the volcano spewed out like a waterfall and then spread out in all directions like drifting rain. It's too dangerous here. Let's leave first. With the demon army and the eruption of the volcano, there was danger everywhere. Su Fong decided to leave, but it was obviously too late. The magma spewed directly over his head, and even the ground below the mountain dropped a large amount of magma. Now, he could not leave even if he wanted to. He did not want to be swallowed by the magma, so he ran into the cave in front of him. Soon, the magma flowed down from the mountain peak. Before Su Fong could catch his breath, the magma flowed back into the cave. Su Fong hurriedly ran into the cave. He did not know how far he ran until he passed by a cave. He saw some demons resting. It turned out that he had barged into a monster's nest. Su Fong hurriedly activated the spirit concealment ring and quickly ran past these caves before arriving at an empty cave. But before he could heave a sigh of relief, he felt waves of heat coming from behind him. He heard the sound of air colliding with each other. Every collision felt like the mountain was about to shake. Filled with curiosity, he ran deeper into the cave. After a while, he was forced to stop. That was because in front of him was actually bursting magma. In front of him was the mouth of a volcano. The mouth of the volcano was estimated to be 1,000 meters long. In the center, there were actually two forces colliding in the magma. It was obvious that there were peerless experts fighting there. What kind of fruit is that? It actually grew in the magma and is bearing fruit. Su Fong almost missed his footing. He was afraid that the peerless experts would notice him. Just as he turned around, he saw a fire pond in front of him. On top of a small fiery green tree, there was a flower that was bearing fruit. The fruit was emitting an incomparably pure spirit chi. Treasure, a peerless treasure. Since he had to leave, Su Fong gritted his teeth and patted his bag. The illusion cloud rope shot out and wrapped around the fruit that had just grown. With a whoosh, it returned to Su Fong's hand. The spirit fruit was incomparably fragrant. Just smelling it filled his body with energy. He immediately put it into his bag and turned around to run towards the cave. Who dares to steal treasures in this king's territory? After running a few steps, Su Fong heard the angry voice of a peerless giant demon. It caused the mountain to shake. His back broke out in cold sweat. He hurriedly activated the spirit concealment ring to escape. Chapter 57. This king's territory, it seemed that the black fire monster was really inside the volcano, fighting with the strong. Even the black fire monster cares about the spirit fruit. It must be a supreme treasure. Activating the spirit concealment ring, Su Fong desperately ran towards the exit of the cave. The consumption of spirit energy was astonishing, and the spirit concealment ring was like a tautai absorbing his energy. In just a few breaths, he successfully arrived at the entrance of the cave. Part of the magma had solidified, but in front of him was slowly surging magma, covering the entire mountain range with a flaming quilt. Woo-woo! On the other side, about 10 feet away on a hillside, stood a group of ashen-faced monsters. They were also blocked by the magma, but as Su Fong appeared, they stepped on the magma recklessly and rushed towards Su Fong. Whoosh, whoosh at this time, from the depths of the cave behind him, a powerful aura swept over from the inside of the volcano. This aura was the fusion of flames and demonic aura. Fight! I can't be caught by the black fire monster. There were pursuers behind and monsters in front. There was no way to retreat. Bursting with a firm divine light, he released the 9 yang true qi, which turned into spirit patterns that wrapped around his body. With a splash, he stepped in the magma and ran with large strides. The 9 yang true qi gave Su Fong a new understanding. Although the magma was boiling hot, the magma could not swallow the 9 yang true qi. He did not master any flying techniques, so he could only use shallow spirit patterns to condense a layer of qi to protect his body while running in the magma. Suddenly, a dark flame spread out from the cave, and a monster appeared. "Human, you stole this king's 1,000-year-old fire snake fruit dye." The demons that were charging at the king revealed a look of fear towards the monster. Su Fong hurriedly looked back and was immediately given a fright. The monster was actually a monster with a human face and a snake body. It was almost half human and half beast. It was over 15 meters tall, and the snake body supported its body. It even had 2 hands, and the palms of its hands were emitting black flames. Without a doubt, this was the peerless monster of the Red Palm volcano, the Black Fire Monster. He did not expect it to be a snake spirit and a big goblin that had not fully transformed into human form. This monster was more than 100 times stronger than the monsters that Su Fong had seen before. No wonder humans treated this place as a forbidden area. Even if the Lord of Tianmen province came here personally, he would not be able to kill this Black Fire Monster. Papath Black Fire Monster coiled its body and didn't release any aura to protect its body. The snake slithered in the lava as if it wasn't afraid of the lava at all. Its speed was too fast, like a black bolt of lightning, flashing through the lava. At this time, Su Fong finally jumped out of the magma area and came to the ground. He activated the spirit concealment ring and quickly hid himself before continuing to run. The Black Fire Monster didn't hesitate and went to where Su Fong had disappeared. Its flaming eyes looked down, and it suddenly slapped out with its right hand. "So you still have a strange treasure. Did you think that if you hid it, this king wouldn't be able to catch you?" Wu-shay demonic flame spurted out from the Black Fire Monster's palm. It was around 10 zhang long and in the shape of a giant snake. All of a sudden, it bit towards the steep hill in front of them. With a flapping sound, a figure whose entire body was protected by 9 yang genuine chi spirit tattoos flew up from the empty hillside along with the flames. It was Su Fong. The Black Fire Monster flashed and floated in the air. It floated a few zhang in the air and stared at the rolling Su Fong. What kind of power can resist this king's demonic aura and the tyrannical flame of the fire element? The 1,000-year fire snake fruit has the protection of the red fiend chi. Even a Dharma cave realm human can't easily suppress it. But this is just an ant at the second layer of the secret passage. I can't let you escape. This king's 1,000-year fire snake fruit finally bloomed and bore fruit. The demon was indeed a demon. It coiled its body and brought along a black smoke. It opened its mouth, and the black smoke turned into a tyrannical attack. It was like a black smoke waterfall rolling towards Su Fong. Su Fong spat out mouthfuls of blood. When he saw the black smoke, he activated the spirit concealment ring and hurriedly dodged. Although the black smoke attack did not hit him, its aura was too terrifying. It shattered the ground 10 zhang around him. Su Fong was once again thrown off his horse. The immortal thorn armor was also revealed, and there were cracks on it. A flesh Dharma treasure was destroyed by its aura alone. "Haha, this king. Let's see where you can escape to." The Black Fire Monster flew over and blocked in front of him. It turned around, and its snake body actually began to transform. It kept extending and quickly rolled towards Su Fong. "Damn demon, are you forcing me to deal with you?" Su Fong was not afraid at all. It turned out that he had always wanted to use the primordial chaos sacred realm. His opponent was the big goblin, and it happened to be restrained by the primordial chaos sacred realm. What Black Fire Monster? If it was not for the large number of demons charging from behind, Su Fong would have used the primordial chaos sacred realm to deal with it. But now, he had no other choice. I can't casually use the primordial chaos sacred realm. If I can't deal with this kind of demon teleportation talisman, Master, I'm sorry. This time, Fong has to use the teleportation talisman. he still had methods to save his life. The effect was much better than the primordial chaos sacred realm. After saying that, he patted his bag and grabbed the teleportation talisman in his palm. Looking at the snake body that was rolling over, he began to release his power to crush the teleportation talisman. Whoosh! Another yellow flame that was faster than the black fire monster's attack blocked the snake body that was rolling over. The black fire monster's snake body was sent flying by the yellow flame. Suddenly, it stared at the yellow-robed figure floating in the air and was unable to restrain its anger. "It's you again, despicable human. You want to steal this king's 1,000-year-old fire snake fruit and the Dharma treasure in the depths of the volcano." Su Fong took the opportunity to activate the spirit concealment ring and ran down the mountain. He glanced at the yellow-robed man. It's this yellow-robed man who is fighting with the black fire monster inside the volcano. How powerful is he? Pow! Pow! The yellow-robed man and the black fire monster started a fight, and the air was filled with shooting shadows or burning dark fire snakes. They formed a force of 1,000 feet, and the yellow-robed man struck out yellow palm prints. The palm prints combined to form a huge wall that blocked off the large number of dark fire snakes controlled by the black fire monster. A battle of this level shook the surrounding mountainside. It seemed like the eruption of lava in the Red Palm volcano was caused by the battle between the two experts. Su Fong finally escaped into the forest. Naturally, he did not dare to relax and continued to run toward the mountains. With his current speed, he was as fast as the wind. Soon, he passed through the forest and gradually lost sight of the Red Palm volcano. After a full 6 hours, he finally entered one mountain range after another. Then, he found a hidden canyon and sat down to swallow a meridian-loosening pill. 1,000-year-old fire snake fruit. Before his aura returned to normal, he took out the spirit fruit that he had obtained earlier. This was the treasure that the black fire monster had mentioned, the 1,000-year-old fire snake fruit. Suddenly, there was a slight rustling sound from a big tree next to him. A middle-aged man's voice was heard. "Kid, you run really fast. Why don't you give me the fruit?" Su Fong looked up in shock and was so shocked that the spirit fruit almost fell to the ground. It was actually a yellow-robed man. He should be the expert that was fighting with the black fire monster. Wasn't he fighting with the black fire monster? How could he catch up with him so accurately in such a short time? Su Fong held the fruit tightly and retreated step by step. The yellow-robed man gently landed on the ground without any killing intent. He was mysterious. "You're just a second-tier secret path cultivator. Don't play tricks in front of me. I don't have to take your fruit, although that fruit is my purpose here." In the Red Palm volcano, it just so happens that the fire snake tree has matured for 1,000 years. It blossoms and bears fruit from time to time. I don't like to force people. If you can help me, I can also get a fire snake fruit. What do you think? Su Fong also became honest. Just as Senior said, "I'm just a second-tier secret path cultivator. How can I help Senior get the spirit fruit?" "I'm afraid Senior is an existence beyond the Dharma cave realm. You've cultivated a special technique that can restrain the fiery chi of the fiery snake tree. The fiery snake fruit was planted by the black fire monsters in the volcano, and there was only one of it. Even I had trouble getting close to the fiery snake tree and suppressing the fiery chi. At the very least, it was impossible for me to break through the fiery chi in a short period of time, but you did it so easily. As long as you and I work together, when we enter the volcano, I'll deal with the black fire monsters while you collect the spirit fruit." Why do I feel like I'm asking a tiger for its skin? Hearing the yellow-robed man say it so casually, Su Fong's hair stood on end. Seeing that Su Fong was silent and suspicious, the yellow-robed man continued patiently. "Of course I won't let you work for nothing. Before we go, I can help you improve your cultivation. When we get the fire snake fruit, I can also give you a Dharma cave realm spirit treasure or even a transcendent realm magic weapon. Do you know what magic weapons are?" "What's a magic weapon?" The latter pricked up his ears curiously. The yellow-robed man explained, "Cultivators below the Dharma cave realm can only use spirit treasures. Only a small number of Dharma cave realm experts can use magic weapons. The quality and power of magic weapons are superior to spirit treasures. It's like the difference between mortals and cultivators. Magic weapons require a large amount of magic power to activate. Do you understand? If you have a magic weapon and you have good talent, once you reach the Dharma Cave realm, you'll be invincible in the entire Dharma Cave realm. Su Fong suddenly said decisively, "Okay, I agree, but I have a condition." "Okay, what condition? Do you want me to help you improve your cultivation or give you a fire snake fruit?" "These are not difficult for me." Taoist Wu Liang. Taoist Wu Liang. No matter what condition you raise, this Taoist can fulfill it for you. Taoist Wu Liang. I don't need you to help me improve my cultivation. Just help me seize a treasury. Treasury. Taoist Wu Liang was startled. Only then did he reevaluate the human youth in front of him. He was experienced and knowledgeable. He thought that Su Fong wanted power, but this youth was the complete opposite. It was very surprising. It should be very easy for you. Do you know Tianmen Province, Scarlet Swallow Mountain? Su Fong told the yellow-robed man the secrets of the Dual Star Dynasty's treasury. After an hour, Taoist Wu Liang snorted and shook his head. Tianmen Province, Scarlet Swallow Mountain? I really don't know. This Taoist only knows of a Zhao country, a destroyed dynasty. At most, they're a force with Flesh Embryo Realm and Secret Path Realm as their main force. What kind of treasures can that kind of treasury have? I'm afraid you won't be able to find a spirit treasure that reaches the Dharma Insight Realm. Why waste your time on that? Why don't you just give me a spirit treasure? To Taoist, that is not worth mentioning, but to Junior, it is a condition that can make my family powerful. Taoist, help me seize the treasure first. Then, this Junior will help you seize the fire snake fruit. I don't want Taoist's magic weapon, nor the fire snake fruit. Su Fong bowed to Taoist Wu Liang, speaking with his head held high. You're an interesting kid. Taoist Wu Liang's eyes revealed a slightly yellow luster. It was unknown what kind of ability he cultivated or where he came from. In short, he was too mysterious. Fine, then this Taoist also agrees. It's a deal. Taoist will act as this junior senior. Scare the experts of Tianmen Province and Scarlet Swallow Mountain. Otherwise, with this junior's cultivation, how can he seize the treasure from the hands of these two great powers? The fire snake fruit will blossom and bear fruit at any moment. Hurry to the Star Dual Sand plains you speak of. Taoist Wu Liang was even more anxious than Su Fong. Since this was the case, Su Fong brought Taoist Wu Liang and quickly left this deep mountain. Author's words. Thank you to Miracle is King for the gift of the 5000 gift pack. Brothers, please vote for me. Chapter 58. Stardual Sandplains. Brat, why aren't you moving? Leaving the forest, the desert lay ahead. Taoist Wu Liang anxiously asked. Su Fong explained. Junior accidentally subdued a Shadowwall monster and hid the 7 stars life chasing sword inside. I'll let the monster take the flying sword and wander the depths of the desert, entangling 2 great powers. Taoist and Junior can enter the monster's body and then enter the desert. You brat, you are too good at scheming. Don't tell me you don't know this Taoist strength. Besides that Zhao country, whatever Crimson Swallow Emperor or Tianmen Province's Lord are at most about the same as this Taoist strength. With this Taoist beside you, what are you afraid of? I want to take this chance to increase my strength and refine the fire snake fruit. So that's how it is. If you want to refine the fire snake fruit, then you must be careful. This fire snake fruit contains the chi of scarlet fire, a fire-type power. Furthermore, the fire snake fruit has the miraculous effect of repairing the body and cleansing the body. Let alone a secret path realm like you. Even a transcendent realm expert would be of great help. You had best cut the spirit fruit and divide it into several portions. It can cleanse your body several times. I estimate that in less than 3 years, you will be able to step into the law insight realm. So miraculous. Why don't you look at this Taoist and that black fire monster's strength? If the 2 of us were not for the treasure, we could still fight until our heads bled. This Taoist will not tell you the method to cut the spirit fruit, and then the majority of this spirit fruit's power will be wasted on you. Have you not heard that you can't eat a fatty in one go? The spirit fruit's power cannot be digested, and in the end, it will spread out from your body. You truly are a reckless waste. Taoist's lesson is correct. Master, as the two conversed, a whirlpool appeared in front of the sand dune. Su Fang quickly ran over and made Taoist Wu Yang wait for him. Taoist Wu Yang sneered, having already seen that Su Fang was deliberately avoiding him. After a while, Taoist Wu Yang walked over and arrived in front of the shadow monster. Su Fang said, "Senior, this is the 7 Stars Life-Chasing Sword. Take a look at its quality." Taoist Wu Yang caressed the flying sword. Outside of the state of Zhao, there are also very high-quality spirit treasures that have reached the Law Insight realm. In this land, they are indeed treasures. This flying sword has reached the 6th level of the Law Insight realm. If you can obtain 3 flying swords, you will have the power of a peak Law Insight realm spirit treasure. Su Fang bowed and said, "I'll hand this sword over to you for the time being. You can observe the overall strength of these 2 forces in secret before you make contact with them and search for the location of the treasury. You're quite cautious. This is a jade slip that I refined. Take it, and we'll be able to sense each other's presence. I'm going." The latter didn't need to step on the flying sword. In a flash, he was in midair, flying in midair. This was the first time in Su Fang's life that he had seen an expert who could walk on air without using a flying sword. After getting the shadow wall monster to wait on the sand dune, Su Fang entered the forest and immediately took out the 1,000-year-old fire snake fruit. This spirit fruit bloomed and bore fruit every 1,000 years. What kind of treasure was this? He took out the flying sword and cut the spirit fruit into 10 pieces according to Taoist Wu Yang's instructions. This spirit fruit didn't have a core or a seed. It was truly magical. After cutting it, the flying sword carried the fruit juice with it. He licked it with his tongue, and a soft force swept through his entire body. Immediately, his spirit increased. He placed the 9 pieces of fruit into the box that he had used to store the goo worms and immediately ate the first piece. The piece of fruit melted in his mouth. It was even more magical than elixirs. Just this aspect alone was better than the Meridian relaxation pill. Buzz. Suddenly, his entire body emitted energy and the sound of his muscles pulsating. The warmth of the fruit spread through his meridians, bones, and even his brain. Papa. Originally, it was very comfortable. Su Fang also enjoyed this feeling. However, his muscles and bones had some impact and vibrations. It was as if he had returned to the time when he cultivated his body to perfection. Blood chi and spiritual energy followed the power of the fire snake fruit into every meridian and muscle. The effect was beginning to show. Impurities appeared on his skin, turning into a dark liquid that quickly condensed into granules. Wisps of white smoke rose from his shoulders and the top of his head. The forest was filled with a fishy smell. His spiritual energy, life force, and blood chi were all rushing through his body according to the power of the spirit snake fruit. Su Fang took the opportunity to consume an energy bead that he had obtained from refining the corpse of a demon beast. Bang! Energy suddenly burst out. Su Fang's mind buzzed. He had just seen the 3rd layer of energy. The energy in his body combined with the power of the spirit snake fruit and the power of his heart meridian rushed into his brain and attacked the divine aperture in the depths of his brain. At this moment, Su Fang couldn't control this force. Some dark blood gushed out from the corner of his eyes. 3rd layer of the secret passage. After consuming an energy bead and adding the power of the fruit slice, he advanced from the 2nd layer of the secret passage to the 3rd layer. His body felt like it was floating as if he could fly off the ground. He then grabbed the origin sacred mirror and faced it against the 2 suns. He began to absorb the origin yang qi. The impact on his brain had not yet ended. The power of the spirit snake fruit was still running through his body. As soon as the origin yang qi entered his body, it was swept away and fused with the power of the fruit slice. The energy in his sea of qi circulated rapidly. It was like an old monk sweeping the floor. The power of the spirit snake fruit was too special. One slice was enough for him to break through to the third layer of the secret passage. He was still cleansing his body to help Su Fong cultivate. This time, it lasted for a few days. Su Fong's cultivation and body were constantly improving with the baptism. He seemed to be about to break through to the fourth layer of the secret passage. Whoosh! Suddenly, there was an unusual sound of airflow in the distance. He quickly absorbed the origin sacred mirror. In the blink of an eye, a yellow-robed figure flew into the forest. It was Taoist Wuliang. Taoist Wuliang was probably less than 40 years old. However, his body exuded an aura as if he had lived for 1,000 years. It made him seem mysterious. Wang. Su Fong was about to speak when the origin's sacred mirror in his lower abdomen shook slightly. A red light extended from his lower abdomen, as if it was going to shoot at Taoist Wuliang. Seeing this, Su Fong quickly suppressed the red light. He was shocked. He stared at Taoist Wuliang, who was walking over. This person is a demon, a big goblin. Of course, Taoist Wuliang didn't seem to care about this. He came to the side and sat down. Kid, it's almost done. Oh, Su Fong could not remain calm. To think that the Chaos Essence Sage would react within his body and shoot out a red beam. The ancient mirror would only react this way towards demons. But now that it was facing Taoist Wuliang, it reacted as well. He secretly looked at Taoist Wuliang. He couldn't seem to find any characteristics of a demon, other than the pair of slightly yellow eyebrows. This person had perfectly transformed into a human. He even used ordinary human energy. There was no trace of demon aura. After the black fire monster, Taoist Wuliang was a powerful big goblin. Being together with the big goblin was like asking a tiger for its skin. If the other party was a demon, he naturally couldn't believe a word of it. If he cooperated with this person to get the fire snake fruit, he would probably die when he got the fruit. Taoist Wuliang smiled and said, "This Taoist has personally met the Scarlet Swallow Grand Emperor, as well as Ho Ping and Yang Zhongjue from the Heavenly Gates Prefecture. Both parties had set a trap for this Taoist and thought that this Taoist was a small character. I have already agreed with the two major factions that we will meet again in 10 days. The three parties will search for the location of the treasury together." Su Fong nodded repeatedly. "I'm very lucky that Taoist can help me. Are you a big shot for Zhao country?" "Not really. I'm from southern border. You probably haven't heard of it. It's a world very far away from Zhao country." Southern border? Why hadn't he heard of it? The goo worms in his body came from southern border. His master, Yang Yizhen, had mentioned southern border to him. It seems that it's true that this big goblin came from southern border. Otherwise, how could the Red Swallow Emperor from Tianmen province not know of his origins? After thinking about it, Su Fong pretended that he didn't notice anything and continued to cultivate. Boom! The 10 days were almost up. Suddenly, a trembling sound came from the forest. It turned out that a large amount of energy had exploded from Su Fong's body. With the fourth layer of energy, he had officially stepped into the fourth layer of the secret path. All the energy in his body began to surge into his brain, constantly attacking it. "Kid, I didn't expect your physical body to be so powerful. Your life-yang energy is so strong. Are you an ancient body cultivator?" Taoist Wuliang, who had been sitting beside him quietly, suddenly had a look of surprise in his eyes. Su Fong was shocked and allowed the energy to attack his brain. He nodded and said, "Taoist, you're amazing. I'm indeed an ancient body cultivator and have reached perfection in my physical body. No wonder you have such strong yang energy in your body. Yang energy is also life essence. An ordinary physical body can't condense such yang energy." After Taoist Wuliang said that, he suddenly became quiet again. "It seems that there are many experts in this world who can tell that I have a perfected physical body." He didn't know what this mysterious big goblin was planning. In short, Su Fong wasn't afraid of him. Firstly, he had the teleportation talisman. If he couldn't, he could use the primordial chaos sacred realm to fight him. Whoosh! 10 days later, a flying sword suddenly appeared in the sky. Taoist Wu Yang, who was wearing a yellow robe, and Su Fong, who was disguised as a masked man in black, stood on the sword chi. After flying for a while, flying swords suddenly appeared in the sky. Dozens of them were experts from Tianmen province. Su Fong recognized them at a glance. Looking at the dozens of people on the right, they should be experts from Red Swallow Mountain. Taoist Wu Yang really wants to help me get the treasure. This means that the treasure under the Red Palm volcano is very tempting to an unparalleled big goblin like him. Sizing up the experts from Tianmen province from different perspectives, Su Fong felt like he had been reborn. As expected, it's Ho Ping, Yang Zhongjue, Qiu Lingji, Qi Xin Shuai, Yu Junqi, and the others. As the three parties approached, Su Fong also saw familiar faces. As for the experts on the right, Su Fong saw a man in a red robe. He was about 30 years old and had a golden swallow tied to his waist. Red Swallow Emperor. With such an aura, suppressing so many experts, this man was definitely Red Swallow Emperor. Tianmen Province's representative, Ho Ping, cupped his fists towards Red Swallow Emperor and Taoist Wu Yang. Brother Taoist, can we begin? No problem. Taoist Wu Yang flicked his finger, and the seven-star life-chasing sword floated in the sky. With another two swishing sounds, Red Swallow Emperor and Ho Ping released two flying swords in front of everyone. The three seven-star life-chasing swords merged and suddenly turned into one flying sword. In fact, they were just overlapping each other and then flew towards the center of the endless desert. The experts from the three parties hurriedly chased after them. An hour later, the seven-star life-chasing sword stopped above an ordinary ancient city and slowly flew towards the ground. It came to an abandoned courtyard that used to be a palace. There was an ancient well there. Whoosh, 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 more than 100 experts followed the flying swords and landed on the ground. The three seven-star life-chasing swords turned back to their 1-foot-long state and slowly flew around the well. There were 3 1-foot-long sword grooves at the well. Buzz! The seven-star life-chasing swords merged with the sword grooves in front of everyone's expectations. Suddenly, the ancient city trembled. The ancient well suddenly split in a triangular shape, and then the abandoned courtyard moved. A triangular passage gradually appeared at the ancient well. It could be seen that there were many gemstones embedded inside. Chapter 59. Treasure Room. The wind howled, and sand and pebbles flew. The passage suddenly opened in front of everyone. Snatch the sword. Ho Ping, a peerless expert from Tianmen Province's inner palace, immediately nodded at Yang Zhongjue. Bang! The leader of the Flying Feather Army, one of the strongest generals under Tianmen Province's lord, Yang Zhongjue waved his hand, and a silver spear flew out. He took a step forward, and it was as if he had the ability to shrink a ruler into an inch. Shen Sanfeng. In the blink of an eye, Yang Zhongjue took a second step and arrived at the side of the exit. His name shook Tianmen Province, and even the great lord of Zhao State, the Red Flames Emperor, had made his move. It seemed like he was familiar with Yang Zhongjue. Seeing that he could move 100 meters in less than 2 steps, he could see the origin of such a divine ability. Bang! It was unknown what kind of movement technique the Red Flames Emperor used, but it was similar to Shun Sanfeng's. No, it was not just movement, but a kind of aura. It clashed with Yang Zhongjue's aura, and the two peerless experts were unable to do anything to each other. The Red Flames Emperor looked at the experts under his command. Kill your way into the treasure room. Ho Ping also ordered Qi Xin Shuai and Qiu Lingji. Kill the experts from Red Swallow Mountain. 2 of the 3 sides moved first. Su Fong said, Taoist, I also want that 7-star life-chasing sword. At least take back the one that belongs to me. I am merciful and do not like to kill. However, it is not difficult to help you take back your treasured sword. Taoist Wu Yang nodded and turned into a yellow wind, sweeping towards the side of the passage. Bang! Bang! At the entrance of the treasure room, the experts from Red Swallow Mountain and Tianmen Province began to fight, fighting to be the first to enter the treasure room. Then, the other expert from Tianmen province finally made his move. It was Ho Ping. Yang Zhongjue was very powerful. He was the leader of the Flying Feather Army. Even the Red Flame, Grand Emperor, knew how powerful he was. On the other hand, Ho Ping, who came from the inner palace, rarely fought. Few people knew how powerful he was. Su Fong hadn't moved an inch. When he saw Ho Ping make a move, he broke out in a cold sweat. The wind from Ho Ping's palm slapped towards the experts from Scarlet Swallow Mountain who were rushing into the passage. The palm print instantly knocked many people over, and a few of them were smashed into meat paste on the spot. With just this one move, the resistance of the experts from Tianmen province was reduced. Zzz, he's in midair. A human figure leaped over. Similarly, he did not step on a flying sword. He leaped a few feet high, and with a sweep of his leg, a fiery shockwave surged towards Ho Ping. The experts of my Red Swallow Mountain are not meat on your chopping board. Xiao, a silver spear pierced through the air, blocking the Qian Grand Emperor's attack. Brother Ho, I will deal with this person. You go and take the treasury. Pay attention to that yellow-robed Taoist. All right. Ho Ping led the last few experts from Tianmen province into the treasury passage. Everyone's cultivation was at least at the Dharma opening realm. They were the core of Tianmen province, and every one of them had gone through many rounds of selection before finally standing at the peak. Now, there were only 4 people left outside the passage. The Qian Grand Emperor tried to grab one of the flying swords, but Taoist Wuliang flashed and shattered the Qian Grand Emperor's attack. He calmly stared at the flying sword below. This flying sword is mine. The Qian Grand Emperor was stunned. The Qian Grand Emperor had shattered the Qian Grand Emperor's attack. He couldn't help but re-evaluate Taoist Wuliang. Where did you come from? Which feudal lord are you from? Taoist Wuliang flashed back, his left hand already grabbing 2 7-star life-seeking swords. I have no interest in feudal lords like you. Although feudal lords have a higher status than feudal lords, they are still pawns and tools of the empire. I am just a rogue cultivator. I will take whatever treasures I find. On the other side, Yang Zhongjue wielded his silver spear and stepped on a wave of energy. Why don't you join my Tianmen province? With your strength, it won't be difficult for you to become the strongest expert under the prefecture lord's command. 3 strong contenders moreover, they were not at the Dharma Cave realm. These 3 experts were probably at the Transcendent realm. When will I be able to stand at the same height as them? I can't wait for long. I have the primordial chaos sacred realm. Others might take 10 years, but I only need 1. 10 years in the east, 10 years in the west. Even I can't predict tomorrow. Heart Itchy Su Fong seemed to have been forgotten. He stood at the entrance with envy in his eyes. Taoist Wuliang disdainfully responded to Yang Zhongjue's attempt to rope him in. I'm sorry, Prefecture Lord of Tianmen Province. I only know the Zhao Empire. What Prefecture Lord of Tianmen Province? I'm just a worker who watches over the Zhao Empire. How dare you insult my Prefecture Lord? Yang Zhongjue was furious. You were too polite. Taoist Wuliang didn't seem to be an ordinary person. You called him a worker, and you even praised the Prefecture Lord of Tianmen Province. I think he's just a watchdog for the Zhao Empire, and you're just a little dog next to him. Transcendent chaos. Whoosh whoosh, the 3 experts hadn't used their full strength until now. However, Taoist Wuliang's words had ignited Yang Zhongjue's fighting spirit. He suddenly charged toward Taoist Wuliang from 10 feet away, his silver spear stabbing toward Taoist Wuliang's neck. Fast, ruthless, and accurate. It could be seen that Yang Zhongjue was an expert who had grown up step by step from the bottom of the Flying Feather Army. He had experienced countless battles and killed countless experts. His cultivation base was built by stepping on corpses and lying down on blood. You have quite a temper. Taoist Wuliang suddenly turned into a yellow wind. Yang Zhongjue's silver spear struck the yellow wind, but the Taoist disappeared. Taoist Wuliang appeared from the gale, seemingly condensed from the yellow wind. What Red Swallow Emperor? Didn't Tianmen Province always want to get rid of you? I'm not a friend of Tianmen Province, nor am I your enemy. It's all for the sake of benefits. Tianmen province is actually our common enemy. Haha, you're absolutely right. I suddenly like you, Taoist. Then don't disturb me. As for that treasury, whoever has the ability can have it. If we fight each other, it will only benefit the Heavenly Gate Palace. The Crimson Swallow Grand Emperor chuckled and nodded. You won't succeed. Yang Zhongjue threw the silver spear in his hand. It was like a silver meteor stabbing toward Taoist Wu Yang. Your talisman can't do anything to me. Your divine steps can only be considered average. Taoist Wu Yang jumped out from the silver spear. The yellow wind whistled. It was unknown what kind of magical ability it was. The Crimson Swallow Great Emperor suddenly interfered, a palm force covering the sky and covering the earth. It rose from the ground and pressed towards Yang Zhongjue. You and I have fought for so many years, all for the sake of the Star Dual Dynasty's treasury. Your opponent is me. I told you, the flying sword is mine. It's mine. Taoist Wu Yang turned into yellow wind and appeared on the other side of the passage. He actually obtained the third 7 stars life-chasing sword. He then flashed toward the masked Su Fong. Taoist, thank you. Su Fong did not stand on ceremony. This was cooperation, not etiquette. Taoist Wu Yang handed the 3 7 stars life-chasing swords to Su Fong without a care. This Taoist will help you with all his strength. You have to help me with all your strength. You can't enter the treasury. Yang Zhongjue rushed toward the treasury's entrance. He wanted to block the passage. This way, the strongest person inside would be Ho Ping, and he would be able to obtain the entire dynasty's treasury. Red Swallow Emperor stomped with every step. His aura could crush a mountain, causing the entire ancient city to tremble. It seemed like he also wanted to use the true strength of the transcendent realm. You can stop the two of us. Yang Zhongjue raised his silver spear. Then you could try. 2-2. Just as the experts from the 3 parties were at the entrance, there was a sudden violent tremor from below the passage. A cold wind burst out from the passage as well. Buzz. The sudden change had not ended. The experts felt that there must be some terrifying energy erupting from the treasury. A colorful Xian Guang spread out from the ground. This Xian Guang did not seem to belong to the mortal world. It came from the horizon and flashed on the ancient city's ground for a moment before disappearing. This is Taoist Wu Yang was the first to change his expression. He suddenly turned into a yellow wind and pushed away Yang Zhongjue, who was releasing his aura, and escaped into the treasury. Red Swallow Emperor, I will take your head today. Green true heavenly lightning. Clearly, Taoist Wu Yang's strength was much stronger than Yang Zhongjue. Yang Zhongjue was unable to stop Taoist Wu Yang. Even if he entered the treasury, Ho Ping could still deal with him. Yang Zhongjue's entire body floated into the air as he performed a series of complicated hand seals. His eyes emitted a mysterious lightning. Green true heavenly lightning. This is one of the proudest abilities of Tianmen province. If you want to kill me, then come. Red Swallow Emperor also slowly rose into the air, his body seemingly weightless. Tisk tisk. 5 streaks of green lightning appeared above Yang Zhongjue. Transcendent humans can actually control the lightning in nature. I have to disappear quickly. That Taoist Wu Yang actually did not bring me into the treasury. Transcendent abilities. The green lightning could probably blast a hole in a mountain. Su Fong activated his spirit concealment ring. Taking advantage of the lightning chi covering the sky and causing the yellow sand to burst, he immediately escaped into the passage. This passage was about 100 meters deep. After running wildly, he first saw some corpses scattered around. In front of him, the experts of Tianmen Province and Red Swallow Mountain were fighting over a large amount of treasures on the ground. Spirit stones, gems, and some meridian loosening pills were scattered on the ground, causing both sides to fight and kill each other. What kind of treasure is that pagoda? It's attracting Ho Ping and Taoist Wu Yang to suppress the aura released by the pagoda. In his invisible state, he originally wanted to seize the opportunity to snatch the treasures. However, when he saw 2 experts fighting over a pagoda, his attention was immediately attracted by the pagoda. He also rushed up. "Everyone, don't get close. The aura released by the two experts is enough to kill us." Some experts wanted to enter the bag to snatch the treasures, but Taoist Wu Yang and Ho Ping were releasing waves of spirit energy to suppress the pagoda's aura. No one dared to get close and could only turn around to look for other treasures. The underground palace was like an underground palace. Gold and silver were piled up everywhere. It was indeed a dynasty's treasury. Yellow-robed Taoist, this treasure belongs to my Tianmen province. You can't take it. Even if you take it, my Tianmen province will chase you to the ends of the earth. This Taoist didn't expect to encounter an ordinary treasure here. So what if you're from Tianmen province? I'm not under the control of the Zhao country. If it's the power of the Zhao country, this Taoist would be a little afraid. With your cultivation, you are indeed an expert. However, you better not force this Taoist power, or else none of you will be able to leave. You blind dog, this seat will kill you first. Heavenly Gate Blue Thunder Formation. Ho Ping was unable to restrain his anger. Someone dared to behave so atrociously in Tianmen province. In an instant, he crushed the rune talismans. Crack! The rune talisman shattered, and a huge door that released green lightning appeared and surrounded Taoist Wu Yang. Heavenly Gate Blue Thunder Formation. That's a #1 formation in Tianmen province. Everyone knows about it. Su Fong once again saw the methods of a transcendent realm expert. It was also his first time seeing a formation. Chi! Boom! Suddenly, a bolt of green lightning shot out from the Heavenly Gate Blue Thunder Formation. This bolt of green lightning struck Taoist Wu Yang at lightning speed and sent him flying. However, Ho Ping was not in a hurry. This was Tianmen province's territory. He would kill Taoist Wu Yang first. What's so good about this transcendent artifact? There are signs of damage in some places. It's not a complete transcendent artifact. Could it be a transcendent artifact? Su Fong was the closest to the pagoda. He stared at the 3-zhang tall pagoda that seemed to be inlaid with gold and silver. Its aura was extraordinary, but there were many damaged places on the pagoda. Chapter 60. Su Fong hid himself and suddenly thought of the pagoda in front of him. Could it be that the colorful light on the ground was released by this 6-story pagoda? For 2 experts to fight over it. It must be a great treasure, far greater than the 7 stars life-chasing sword. While that yellow-robed Taoist is busy, let's snatch this Dharma treasure. Qi Xin Shuai led the 2 flying feather army martial artists and killed a bloody path. Wherever they went, the martial artists from the Red Swallow Mountain would be defeated one by one. The 3 of them looked at the pagoda. Qi Xin Shuai patted his empty bag, and the bag suddenly appeared in his left hand. The bag opened and released a suction force toward the 6-story pagoda. Whoosh! Whoosh! A strong wind came out of the bag, tried to suck the 6-story Dharma treasure into the bag. Qi Xin Shuai is probably close to the transcendent realm. Su Fong could only watch. It seemed that this pagoda was still going to fall into the hands of Tianmen province. You're just a Dharma whole realm brat, and you still want to take this Dharma treasure, the 100 poison wolf smoke. Taoist Wu Yang flew over, turning into a yellow wind. Ho Ping chased after him. Taoist Wu Yang slapped his palm, and a black smoke pressed toward Qi Xin Shuai and the other 2. Qi! Qi! Transcendent realm technique. The 100 poison wolf smoke looked ordinary, but when it spread toward Qi Xin Shuai and the other 2, it wrapped around them and continuously devoured their energy and aura. Qi Xin Shuai and the other 2 could only use the black feather armor to protect their bodies. No, even the black feather armor was being burned by the 100 poison wolf smoke until it crackled. Even the armor was about to melt. This was a Dharma treasure. Taoist Wu Yang's transcendent realm technique was actually able to suppress a Dharma treasure and melt it. What kind of strength was this? Ho Ping charged over, unleashing his Xian Guang to drag Qi Xin Shuai and the others out of the pagoda. Then he began to fight with Taoist Wu Yang. You're not one of the experts around the state of Zhao. I heard that the 100 poison smoke is a technique that only the evil cultivators of the southern wilderness can use. You're a cultivator from the southern wilderness. Taoist Wu Yang was on guard against Ho Ping's sneak attack. It seemed Ho Ping's strength had already reached the peak of perfection. I didn't expect a guard dog like you to know about the 100 poison art. This really is a very common divine ability in the southern border. The 100 poison art is a divine ability condensed from gathering hundreds of poisonous creatures. When the divine ability fuses with the poison, other than enchanted items, any spirit treasure can be poisoned. Nanjiang might be far away, but there are still many cultivators who travel there. This 100 poisons art isn't really a secret. Killing someone from Tianmen province, a transcendent expert like you, is about to fall. Bang bang, just as Ho Ping spoke, a large amount of sword chi appeared around him. He shouted, "100 sword chime!" Buzz buzz in the blink of an eye. All the sword chi attacked Taoist Wu Yang with an indestructible and murderous aura. The sword chi seemed to be alive and had eyes. They attacked different parts of Taoist Wu Yang, leaving no room for escape or dodging. Taoist Wu Yang was also very powerful. He continued to release the 100 poison art. Like a rising smoke signal, it gushed out from his body. Whenever the sword chi hit the smoke signal, it seemed to be absorbed by the smoke signal, unable to release any threatening sword chi. Buzz, a small figure that no one cared about, looked at the faint purple light flashing in his right arm with a surprised gaze. Su Fong immediately looked at the 6-story pagoda and said in shock, "Why is my right hand reacting to the 6-story pagoda? Could it be that my right hand can also absorb such a powerful enchanted item?" After his right hand fused with the mysterious purple light, the ability it possessed shocked him. What kind of treasure was it to be able to absorb the power of enchanted items? At this moment, it actually reacted to the 6-story pagoda. Su Fong suddenly frowned. This pagoda can make Taoist Wu Yang and Ho Ping fight to the death. It might not be a spirit treasure, but an even more powerful enchanted item. Let's try to absorb its energy. He was still unfamiliar with enchanted items, but this was a transcendental spirit treasure. It was the transcendental 7 stars life chasing sword, brute force spirit bow, and immortal thorn armor. If he could absorb the spiritual power of this treasure, he might have an unexpected gain. Therefore, he began to use all the energy in his right hand. His right hand buzzed and trembled. An inconspicuous purple light gradually approached the 6-story pagoda. The Dath 6-story pagoda came into contact with the purple light. In just an instant, the pagoda shook up and down. It was unknown when it happened, but the shaking became more and more shocking. Even the underground treasury was shaking. Who dares to take the treasure in front of me? Hundreds of feet away, Taoist Wu Yang controlled the 100 poison wolf smoke and swept his yellow eyes towards the 6-story pagoda. Ho Ping also looked over in surprise. Just as he saw the pagoda, it suddenly turned into a beam of spiritual light and shot into the right hand of a black-robed man who appeared out of nowhere. The black-robed man was Su Fong. "It's that brat." Taoist Wu Yang looked at Su Fong in surprise. It was as if he did not expect a brat at the 4th layer of the secret passage to be able to take the treasure that even he had difficulty taking. "Don't let that brat go." Some of the experts from Scarlet Swallow Mountain and Tianmen province had also set Su Fong as their target. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Taoist Wu Yang suddenly unleashed a gust of yellow demonic wind, which also carried the 100 poison wolf smoke. He flew towards Su Fong from midair and shouted, "Brat, the pagoda is mine. Give it to me." Su Fong suddenly straightened his back. "Taoist, this pagoda has already recognized me as its master. How can I return it to you in broad daylight? The treasure belongs to whoever picks it up. Don't you think so? This pagoda is very useful to me. Give it to me." Taoist Wu Yang floated in the air. At this time, not only were his eyebrows yellow, but they also carried a hint of gold. His eyes, in particular, emitted a yellow demonic light. "Isn't it the same if I help you get the flaming serpent fruit? Didn't you want to give me a treasure to thank me? Just take this treasure, and it's not even yours." Su Fong was unhappy. Taoist Wu Yang was furious. Brat, you've grown some guts. Give it to me. Su Fong used a rough voice to hide his young voice. Since it merged with this brat, it's this brat's. I got it with my own hands, not from you. The treasure belongs to me. I will still help you get the flaming serpent fruit. They're fighting amongst themselves. Chop that brat up and take back that peerless artifact. One by one, vicious gazes locked on his Su Fong. There were experts from Scarlet Swallow Mountain, as well as experts from Tianmen Province. Even Xiaolingji was among them. Daoist Wuyong suddenly suppressed his anger. Without me protecting you, did you think you could enter this treasury? Before we came, you said yourself that you weren't interested in the treasures in the treasury, and that everything in the treasury would belong to me. Now you're going back on your words. I was just joking before. Who knew that there would be a treasure in this treasury for me? Otherwise, I would have chopped you up. Since I merged with the treasure, it's mine. Who would have thought that Su Fong would be so resolute? His face said, I'm taking this treasure for sure. Where did an ant at the fourth layer of the secret passage get such courage from? Yellow-robed fiend. Haha, the heavens are helping me. Everyone, listen up. I'll hold back this yellow-robed fiend. You guys kill that brat and take back the treasure. Ho Ping didn't expect that Daoist Wuyong and Su Fong would fight amongst themselves. He also saw that Su Fong was just a minor character at the fourth layer of the secret passage. As long as he could deal with the yellow-robed fiend, then Qi Xin Shuai and Qiulingji would be able to kill Su Fong. In the end, the treasure would still belong to Tianmen Province. You fellows, I gave you a way out, but you brought about your own destruction. I won't be polite anymore. The one who attacked first wasn't Ho Ping, but Daoist Wuyong. Under everyone's gaze, Daoist Wuyong's eyebrows grew a few inches, and his head turned blood red, especially his 10 fingers, which turned into sharp claws. The experts below trembled in fear. It's the big goblin. As expected, it's a peerless big goblin that can transform into a human. Daoist Wuyong, just from your name, you're not a good thing. What a black-bellied big goblin. You pretended to be a kind person, but came to the human world to steal treasures. Su Fong was also rather shocked. Luckily, he already knew that the other party was a big goblin. So it's a big goblin from the southern border. Quickly retreat. This demon's magic power is abnormally terrifying. Ho Ping sternly ordered. Qiulingji, Qi Xin Shuai, and the other experts immediately led the experts from Tianmen Province away. The remaining experts from Scarlet Swallow Mountain were at a loss as to what to do. Since this Taoist wants to show off, how can I allow you to leave? It just so happens that this Taoist needs human essence and yang qi. You can all stay behind. Taoist Wuyong bent his body and spat out a large amount of 100 poison smoke. This 100 poison smoke was different from the others. There were actually huge spiders, scorpions, bugs, snakes, and other huge poisonous creatures. They were lifelike, and as they spat out the 100 poison smoke, they were like an army of poisonous creatures advancing. Too powerful. Such a divine ability. One person can deal with an entire army. Su Fong trembled. Taoist Wuyong's strength was something he couldn't grasp. Heavenly Gate, Azure, Lightning Formation. Let's talk after we leave the treasury. Seeing the vast army of poisonous creatures charging over, Ho Ping also used his true divine ability. Azure Lightning Gates appeared and fell to the ground, blocking the path of the army of poisonous creatures. After the yellow-robed freak laughed sinisterly, the army of poisonous creatures attacked the Azure Lightning Door one after another. Boom, boom, boom. The two great experts released their great divine abilities, causing a terrifying collision in the underground treasury. The momentum of the collision smashed into the surrounding walls with an unstoppable force. Ho Ping shouted, "Hurry up! This underground palace is about to collapse." "Where do you think you're going?" The yellow-robed man spat out another gust of yellow wind. The yellow wind was filled with demonic qi, and it actually transformed into a large claw. With a rumble, it tore apart several azure gates, wanting to kill Tianmen Province's peerless expert Ho Ping. The yellow-robed man suddenly locked on his Su Fong, who was standing amidst the falling rocks. Brat, you're courting death. This Taoist even said that after you helped me obtain the fire serpent fruit, I would capture you and make your young body the reincarnation of one of my race's experts. But since you want to die, don't blame this Taoist. So you've been targeting me for a long time. Su Fong was very surprised. From the first time this Taoist saw you, I could see that your body has the yang qi that all demons like. It's also incomparably pure. This is a peerless treasure to any big goblin. It's the best treasure to use for cultivation, refining treasures, dual cultivation, reincarnation, and recultivation. That's why this Taoist has been planning to capture you for a long time. Demons are truly venomous. You're so ruthless, wanting to use me as a cultivation tool for you demons. Bah, this Taoist will deal with you sooner or later. Boom, boom, boom. A large area of the treasury collapsed, and Su Fong jumped back. It looked like he was about to be buried by the yellow sand and debris, but a monster drilled out from the sand and swallowed Su Fong in one gulp before immediately burrowing back into the world of yellow sand. How could I forget that this brat tamed a Shadawa spirit? Good, good. You've eaten the spirit serpent fruit, so you'll have its aura. This Taoist will properly deal with you when this Taoist gets out. Taoist Wu Yang emitted a terrifying poisonous aura as he looked around. If I'm really buried here, I won't be able to get out for a while. He immediately turned into a gust of demonic wind and flew towards the exit of the treasury that was about to be buried. His speed was so fast that it left people speechless. With a gust of yellow wind, Taoist Wu Yang flew out of the passage. Just as he flew out of the exit, a very lonely figure walked towards him under the sunlight. Chapter 61. This solitary figure did not seem to belong to this star dual sandplanes. His appearance could not be seen, but he seemed to be like a passerby brushing past Taoist Wu Yang. But for the first time, Taoist Wu Yang's face showed graveness. Who are you? Taoist Wu Yang indifferently asked. That figure stopped 100 meters away. Wind and sand swirled around him, and a tyrannical laugh came through. You came to my territory to cause trouble. Could it be you do not know who I am? Oh, Taoist Wu Yang was taken aback, and then he disdainfully said, Your territory is known to Grandpa Taoist. You are Tianmen Province's lord, a watchdog raised by the state of Zhao. That person said, I will not refute that I am a watchdog. If you insist that I am a watchdog, then I am a watchdog. On the contrary, it is you, big goblin, who came here to cause trouble and kill my people. Your courage is not small. Grandpa Taoist will go wherever he wants. Your state of Zhao is vast, with countless powerhouses. It is indeed my big goblin's forbidden land, but this Grandpa Taoist likes to come here. Tianmen Province's lord, you came to kill me. Killing you counts. If I can kill you, then I will kill you. If I cannot kill you, then forget it. That person lazily replied. What reason is that? Taoist Wu Yang was taken aback. That person said, You are a big goblin, and your strength is bound to be formidable. This lord knows his limits, and you did not attack my dojo. I did not come here because of the state of Zhao's decree, so I do not want to sweat and bleed for nothing. If I can kill you, then I will kill you. If I cannot kill you, then forget it. So long as you do not cause trouble in my territory, whatever you want to do in the state of Zhao, it has nothing to do with me. Besides, I am used to being lazy. Just now, when that crimson swallow emperor heard I came, he already fled with his tail between his legs. Interesting. You're a very interesting human expert. This Taoist has never exchanged blows with an expert from the state of Zhao. Although the Scarlet Swallow Emperor has some tricks up his sleeves, he's not worth this Taoist taking action personally. Speaking of which, this Taoist is a bit lazy. Tianmen Province's governor. Don't be careless and let this Taoist take your head. Demons were indeed demons. In an instant, they charged towards the ethereal figure, transforming into a demonic wind. Just as they were about to reach the figure, Taoist Wu Yang released a huge poisonous bug with fangs. It bit towards the mysterious figure along with the 100 poison wolf smoke. The Southern Wasteland's 100 poison art is truly powerful. Even a divine ability expert would die upon contact with it. As long as I break it, it'll be fine. Green, true heavenly lightning. The mysterious figure suddenly rose into the air and pointed above the big, poisonous insect. Sure, a bolt of green lightning rolled down from the sky. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled across the sky. It struck the big poisonous insect and tore it into pieces. This Taoist's magic power is boundless. There's even more. The latter activated a large number of poisonous creatures. Along with the 100 poison wolf smoke, they charged towards the mysterious figure with the momentum of 10,000 horses galloping. The desert began to shake. The ancient city behind them was covered in poisonous gas. Everything shook and collapsed. Chi-Chi, that figure, walked through the smoke. If it was a Dharma insight realm cultivator, they would not be able to walk so calmly. They would be poisoned in an instant. He constantly released some green lightning around his body, shattering the poisonous creatures one by one. Furthermore, the 100 poison wolf smoke was unable to get close to him. This aura was indeed worthy of being the supreme ruler of this territory. Tianmin Province's governor. Master, we have to be careful. That's a battle between the big goblin and the Tianmin Province's governor. I'll die if I come into contact with the poisonous gas. I'm only at the Dharma Insight realm. Due to the battle between the two peerless experts, there were no signs of life in the desert. However, under the layers of sand, the Shadawa goblin was hibernating. In his mouth, Su Fong sat cross-legged, releasing his perfected hearing to sense the battle between the two experts above. The Tianmin Province's governor is so strong. Su Fong broke out in cold sweat. He really wanted to go out and see the battle between the two experts. Master, the Tianmin Province's governor is an expert from the Zhao Nation. That Zhao Nation is a giant crocodile with countless experts. The governor of Tianmin Province is one of them. It's rare to hear that the governor of Tianmin Province has a battle with others. Even the Jade Emperor of the Heavenly Jade Mountain and the Crimson Swallow Emperor of the Red Swallow Mountain have never officially fought with him. He's someone that the 8 suzerains both fear and hate. Even the leader of the Flying Feather Army, Yang Zhongjue, is someone who can compete with the Crimson Swallow Emperor, not to mention the governor of Tianmin Province himself. The Shadawa goblin suddenly advised, Master, let's leave. These two people are getting more and more powerful. Who knows what kind of powerful spells they'll use next? Where can I go? I seized the yellow-robed fiend's treasure. For him to be able to let me go last time at the Red Palm volcano, he must have outstanding abilities. Then what does Master plan to do? It will be better to follow lowly me, always hiding beneath the star dual sand plains. Even if he is a big goblin, can he burrow into the ground? I cannot hide underground forever. There are still many things I need to do that cannot be delayed. I am thinking, I want to use the ancient mirror, take advantage of his battle with the Tianmin Province's governor, and suppress him. Master, he is a big goblin. So what if he is a big goblin? My treasure mirror's origins are out of the ordinary. A big goblin is a big goblin. No matter what, I will suppress him. You must tell me, how can I truly shackle the big goblin? Su Fong was completely confident in the chaotic origin Saint Realm, but there was another problem. The ancient mirror killing the yellow-robed fiend was not a problem, but to imprison him, just using 9 Yang True Qi to enter his inner pellet was not enough. There needed to be an even more powerful suppression method, to make him unable to live or die, to be grasped in the palm of his hand for the rest of his life. And Master, the Shadawa demon trembled when he heard this. Su Fong knew what he was worried about. Rest assured, as long as you are loyal to me, I will not imprison you forever. Furthermore, you can only live in the desert, and I cannot use you as a mount. In the future, you will be free here. Thank you, Master. To imprison us demonkind, you must imprison our souls or plant a powerful sealing technique in our inner pellet. With Master's current cultivation, you are unable to do this. Then imprison the soul. Master, use the ancient mirror to injure the big goblin. At the moment of his life and death, You must make him offer his soul. Master can seal the soul, or drip your own blood and use a blood sealing technique to seal the soul. Fortunately, these are not very difficult. Allow me to ponder for a while. Tell me all the sealing techniques you know. Yes. Beneath the sand, a man and a beast were hiding in the dark, waiting for an opportunity. Yellow robe fiend, why don't you transform into your true body? Above the desert, 100 poison smoke floated everywhere. Countless green lightning blades sliced the poisonous creatures in the 100 poison wolf smoke into pieces under the attack of the mysterious figure. The mysterious figure stared at the yellow-robed fiend floating in the smoke. Release your true body. With your half-human, half-demon form, you cannot kill me. Taoist Wuliang refused. Master of Tianmin Province, are you trying to trick me? If I release my true body, my demonic qi will soar into the sky. Won't that attract the experts of the state of Zhao? You want to attract countless experts to get rid of me? Think what you want. I will release a move. After that move, if you can withstand it, I will leave. If you can't, I will take the chance to take your life. Interesting. All right, let me see how powerful your move is. You are too arrogant. Heavenly Gate Mysterious Change. This time, the mysterious figure used both hands. After forming a hand seal, cyan lightning formed gates that enveloped Taoist Wuliang. It seems that the true power of the Heavenly Gate cyan lightning formation can only be released by you. Taoist Wuliang was surrounded by gates. There was no way out. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The gates suddenly moved one after another. They were so fast that they could not be seen clearly. Boom! Under such a strange change in the formation, a lightning palm suddenly attacked from behind. Taoist Wuliang did not know where the attack came from. Sensing the threat, he turned around and punched out. Countless cyan gates stacked together and swept towards him. Another punch landed on the cyan gates. It felt like he was in a world of lightning. Taoist Wuliang was facing the entire world with his own strength. Pooh! Another palm print, another layer of gates. Finally, Taoist Wuliang coughed out blood. In a world filled with lightning, the lightning suddenly disappeared, leaving only the 100 poison smoke floating in the air. The mysterious figure turned around, his back facing Taoist Wuliang. Big Goblin, you are not simple. You can withstand my attack without using your true body. Forget it. If I force your true body out, I'm afraid no one in my territory can do anything to you. After that person finished speaking faintly, he took a few steps and disappeared at the end of the yellow sand. Tianmin Province's lord, you are also powerful. I can't see through you. How strong are you? Taoist Wuliang's body went soft, and he coughed out another mouthful of demon blood. Then, he fell to the ground with a boom. He barely stood. You almost forced me to use my true body. After a while, Taoist Wuliang was still meditating. Buzz! The layer of sand under his feet moved slightly. A Shatuan monster that can't even be considered a demon. You are courting death. Taoist Wuliang seemed to have seen that a Shatuan monster was about to attack him. But unexpectedly, a red light drilled out of the ground. Taoist Wuliang took advantage of the situation and stepped on the red light. He thought that an expert like him could easily crush the Shatuan monster. But this time, he was gravely mistaken. Just as his foot stepped on the red light, his entire foot was entangled by the red light, and the red light covered his entire body. Taoist Wuliang was shocked. Not good. This is not the power of a demon. Break! He released the powerful big goblin qi in his body, but just as the demon qi surged out of his body, it was dispersed by the red light. Taoist Wuliang was instantly filled with fear. He urged his magic to fly out of the red light, but any magic was suppressed by the red light in his body. Why is my body heating up, swelling, and uncontrollable? My energy is also going berserk. Who is it? What a strong yang qi. Taoist Wuliang trembled. He could not control his magic, energy, and body. Moreover, he could not sense any movement in the outside world in this red light. It was as if he had been sealed. Suddenly, a whirlpool appeared below. The Shatawa goblin spat out Su Fong. Old Wuliang, to think that you would have such a day. Su Fong appeared with the origin sacred mirror in his hand. Taoist Wuliang was shocked and sighed. It's you, damn brat. Su Fong said, "Can it be me, old Wuliang? This ancient mirror of mine is a supreme treasure. It will immediately spit out the 9 yang true fire and burn you to death. As long as you give me your soul, I will let you go. From now on, you will be my mount." What a joke. You want me to be your mount? Dream on. Scram. Yellow-robed goblin scoffed. Then you can slowly feel the feeling that the mirror gives you. I guarantee that you will never forget it. The latter took a few steps back. He knew that the big goblin would not be a mount. Puffed. Unexpectedly, as soon as he finished speaking, Yellow-robed goblin in the red light released a loud fart. Puffed. Puffed. Immediately, loud farts came out one after another. Smelly, too smelly. Don't lose control of your bowels. Su Fong pinched his nose. Yellow-robed goblin finally revealed a look of fear. What did you do? My body is actually being purified by your strange mirror. Stop. This power seems to be squeezing me dry. Chapter 62. Su Fong was no longer anxious. He wasn't worried at all. To tell you the truth, I don't know what kind of power this is either. But I do know that you'll be burned to death by the flames coming from the ancient mirror. And only I can control this ancient mirror. In other words, only I can save your life. The yellow-robed man did not even have the ability to control weep. I didn't expect a human like you to be more ruthless than us demons. I'm the one who's ruthless. You forced me to be so, Su Fong mocked. You approached me to capture me for your people to cultivate. Aren't you ruthless? If I didn't attack you, you would have found me quickly and killed me. I have time, but you don't. Su Fong was unmoved. Boom. The body of Taoist Wuliang, who was imprisoned in the red light, suddenly changed. His body tore apart his clothes, which were torn into pieces. Red fur grew along with his claws, and all of his clothes disappeared. A 10-feet-tall red-furred fox appeared in front of Su Fong with a pained and evil expression. Taoist Wuliang turned out to be a red-furred fox. Dang fox demons were rumored to have cultivated into human form. They were extremely cunning and specialized in sucking the essence of humans. Su Fong was so frightened that he took a few steps back. He had seen many demons in his years of cultivation, but he had never seen a fox demon so shocking. Facing such a legendary existence, even a primordial chaos sage would be somewhat fearful. Taoist Wuliang had red fur all over his body, and each strand was emitting a demonic aura. His claws were half a foot long and were as sharp as Dharma treasures. The most impressive thing about him was his pair of yellow eyebrows. The fox demon's body swelled again, and he was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. It's up to you whether you agree or not. At this moment, Su Fong was unusually cold in the face of the fox demon's painful and pleading eyes. He knew very well that the fox demon in front of him was naturally cunning. Once he let it go, there would be endless trouble in the future. A flame with yang qi was released from the edge of the ancient mirror, as if the mirror was about to burn. The fox demon gritted his teeth and lowered his head. I agree. Whoosh. Su Fong released 9 yang qi and enveloped the fox demon. The fox demon opened its mouth and spat out a blurry little fox shadow. This was the fox demon's soul. A drop of fresh blood followed the Su Fong and merged with the fox demon's soul. I offer my blood to the soul. Fox demon, are you willing to be my mount from now on? Yes. The fox demon was forced to answer. Buzz. The fox demon's soul took the initiative to fuse with the blood seal. Su Fong also grabbed a portion of the fox demon's soul power and absorbed it into his dantian. All right, Sage Realm. Su Fong took a few steps back and released even more majestic 9 yang genuine qi to cover the surface of the ancient mirror. Bang bang, fox demon's feet landed on the ground. She was furious. But when she saw Su Fong holding the Origin's sacred mirror and planting the blood mark in his soul, She realized that a peerless big goblin like her had been defeated by an ant at the fourth layer of the secret passage. No, it should be a primordial chaos saint. Su Fong was still wary of the fox demon. He maintained his tense state of mind and waved his hand at the fox demon. You're too scary. Be more normal or turn into a human. It's best if you're younger. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep well if I see your original appearance. After the fox demon formed the seal, he immediately turned into a young man. His face was still the same, but he was more than 10 years younger. He also changed into a green robe. Su Fong suddenly smiled. Fox demon, no, you'll still be called Wuliang. But since you're not a Taoist, you'll be called Dao Wuliang. You're naturally cunning. This name suits you perfectly. Oomph, I'm a yellow-browed scarlet fox. The fox demon coldly raised his head. Dao Wuliang, yellow-browed scarlet fox. Not only did he become someone's mount, but he was also given a new name. He was a peerless big goblin. Just thinking about it made him feel resentful. Yellow-browed crimson fox, I know you wish for nothing more than to eat me and even burn my bones and scatter my ashes, but I possess a peerless magic treasure that can suppress you. You're utterly incapable of causing any waves before me. You better obediently listen to my orders. Now tell me, exactly what magic treasure is that six-floored pagoda in the treasure vault? Dao Wuliang seemed to understand that a wise man knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. He was too wary of Su Fong's mirror. He answered in a low voice, Royal-grade magic artifacts are the highest quality and strongest treasures in the mortal world. Above spiritual artifacts are magic artifacts. Magic artifacts are also divided into different grades. The higher the cultivation level, the higher the quality of the magic treasure. For example, the 7 Stars Life-Seeking Sword reached the 6th level of the Law Cave realm, which means that the person who made it was at least at the 6th level of the Law Cave realm. Above the spirit treasures are the magic treasures. Magic treasures can only be made by someone with strong magic power, and they have to be at the transcendent realm. Magic treasures are divided into low grade, mid grade, high grade, and king grade. The king grade is the best magic treasure. In this mortal world, king grade magic treasures are invincible, and they are only one step away from becoming legendary immortal magic treasures. But I saw that it was damaged. Can it still be used? Of course it can. It depends on how damaged it is. The pagoda you fused with has already reached the peak of royal grade. Unfortunately, you can't control it. Even transcendent realm experts can't control royal grade magic artifacts. Don't ask me how to use it. Dao Wuliang turned his head impatiently. After thinking for a while, Su Fong directly said, I'll go back to Tianmen province first. After I'm done with my business, I'll come back with you to the Red Palm volcano. I'll help you get the fire serpent fruit and the magic artifact under the volcano that the black fire monster wants. The black fire monster is a monster, and I have the ancient mirror. With your help, we can definitely suppress it. I don't want the fire serpent fruit or the magic artifact. I owe you, but you have to give me some manuals on how to fuse magic artifacts and cultivation. You really don't want the magic artifact under the volcano? Dao Wuliang finally looked at Su Fong. The magic artifact inside might be a powerful magic artifact. I already have the pagoda. Why would I want that magic artifact? You and I each get one. It's perfect. This jade slip has what you want. Dao Wuliang tossed a jade slip to Su Fong. You were injured by the Tianmen province's lord. For this period of time, you should recuperate. Grabbing the jade slip, he turned around and ran towards the desert. The yellow sand rolled, and Su Fong then disappeared into the desert. Dao Wuliang. The fox demon's eyes suddenly turned from black to blood red, full of burning resentment. He felt that even the heat waves of the Star Dual sand plains could not compare. Flying Sand Castle Su Fong followed the Chatua goblins into the yellow sand. Seeing the flying sand castle floating in the middle of the sandstorm, Su Fong immediately changed into the black feather battle armor, equipped the token, and walked towards the flying sand castle. In the air above the flying sand castle, a black-armored powerhouse suddenly appeared. He stepped on a flying sword and stared at Su Fong. You are from the Flying Feather Army. Su Fong glanced and cupped his fist. Your servant is Su Fong of the Silver Moon team. The captain is Lady Qiulingji. Several days ago, during the encirclement of Hong Yuetian, she was accidentally buried in the underground palace. Only yesterday did she crawl out. Follow me. The flying sword drilled into the powerhouse's empty pouch, and he brought Su Fong towards the flying sandcastle's entrance. When they entered the flying sandcastle, a few flying feather army powerhouses curiously sized up Su Fong, but there were some who recognized him. Qi Xinshui very quickly heard the commotion and came over, confirming Su Fong's identity in front of everyone. So it turned out to be like this. You truly are lucky. Last time, during the encirclement of Hong Yuetian's lair, your Silver Moon team's 6 Feng fell there. In any case, you were able to return alive. Last time, you also contributed to my flying feather army. I remember that Sir Tu also mentioned this matter many times. Inside the hall, Qi Xinshui still understood the cause and effect of Su Fong's incident. It seemed he needed to carefully confirm it. At the same time, he activated the token as if he was notifying the Flying Feather Army Hall. Su Fong, under Qi Xinshui's gaze, rode his mount and flew towards Tianmen Province. In Tianmen Province, in just one day, he returned to the familiar sky above the dojo. He's here. In midair, Qiulingji, Yu Junqi, Li Suqing, and Lian Zhan were riding their mounts. Once they saw Su Fong flying through the clouds, everyone immediately went forward to welcome him. They had not seen Su Fong for a short period of time, but everyone felt that he had changed a lot, especially to Qiulingji and the others. It was obvious that Su Fong had changed a lot. After returning to the army hall, Tu Yuya immediately received Su Fong. She first asked about his well-being, then asked Su Fong about his experiences during this period of time, especially how he escaped from the bandits' lair and what he experienced at that time. Su Fong had already carefully arranged everything, so he answered smoothly. No one could tell that he was lying at all. At that moment, Su Fong was recorded as having contributed greatly. In addition to hiding in the lair, he actually contributed greatly twice in a short period of time. Tu Yuya personally engraved 2 feathers on his battle armor and allowed him to mainly cultivate in the army hall from now on and not participate in ordinary missions. Feather Ascension Palace. At dusk, Su Fong came to a palace built in the forest. This was the Jade Palace that Tu Yuya had rewarded him with. From now on, he was a core member of the Flying Feather Army. After walking around the Feather Ascension Palace, he fused the formation with the token. From now on, only he could enter the Feather Ascension Palace silently. Others could enter as well, but they had to activate the formation. After resting for a while, I'll go see Su Yin, Su Yi, and the others. I've obtained so many immortal pills and flying swords. I'll share some with everyone, or I'll go back to Tianzong City and give them to Uncle and the other elders to help them break through from the Qi Eater realm to the Flesh Embryo realm. Late at night, he sat cross-legged on his bed, reading the vast amount of knowledge in the Jade Slip that Dao Wuliang had given him. Every minute and second, Su Fong was learning about a strange world that he had never known before. It was a grand world of magic treasures. At the same time, he also consumed a 1,000-year-old fire serpent fruit, and his body underwent a shocking change. It seemed that he would soon break through to the 5th level of the secret passage. There really is something in my right hand. After a period of recuperation, Su Fong was also concerned about the king-grade magic treasure pagoda in his right arm. Using his consciousness to sense his right arm, he gradually seemed to see the shadow of a pagoda floating in a purple space. Buzz! At that time, you had already started to come into contact with a world that I couldn't come into contact with. You are changing, and so am I. 6 Feng died in the hands of the bandits. It has nothing to do with me. Before my cousin went to the Skeleton Sand Sea, he had already revealed that he wanted to get rid of you. Oomph. Su Fong, I didn't expect that a mountain brat like you would be able to climb to a higher level and become the core of the Flying Feather Dojo. Do you think that I won't be able to take revenge for my cousin? You must be dreaming. Today, I will teach you a lesson. You and your family, Su, will be killed sooner or later. Lu Lan raised her eyebrows. After she shouted angrily, she suddenly pointed at Su Fong. Swish! As she pointed, a ball of flame suddenly pounced towards Su Fong like a fire dragon. Lu Lan is so powerful. This isn't an ordinary spell. She actually made a move in Tianmen province. Su Fong's body tensed up as he felt the killing intent coming from Lu Lan. He wasn't someone to be trifled with when facing the flame. He formed a hand seal and struck out a lifelike cloud lion roar. Boom! The flame wanted to burn Su Fong to death, and the cloud lion roar wanted to bite the flame into pieces. The two spells clashed, and Su Fong and Lu Lan were both forced to retreat. You are very strong. You are also very strong, but Lu Lan, you can't kill me. The two of them instantly revealed an astonished expression. It was as though the two of them were very clear about their own strength. They reckoned that they wouldn't have an opponent in the same age group. What are the two of you doing? Qiu Lingji suddenly flew over. Senior sister Qiu, junior brother Su, and I are just reminiscing about the past. We are itching for a spar. Junior sister will take her leave first. Upon seeing Qiu Lingji, Lu Lan cupped her fists and walked toward another path. She stepped on the tree branches and leaped lightly. Qiu Lingji made sure that Lu Lan had left before looking at Su Fong. Why are you fighting with Lu Lan here? Once something happens, you will be in trouble, but she will be fine. The latter cupped his fists. She suspects that I am the one who killed Six Feng. How is that possible? With my cultivation, how can I kill Six Feng? I can't even hide in time. Therefore, she came to my dojo to denounce me. No one continued to investigate Six Feng's death. The investigation is also a bottomless pit. Lu Lan can't touch you without any evidence. You have to be careful of this person. She is very arrogant, and I heard that she has a close relationship with an important figure. In the Jade Heron Dojo, even their leader will give Lu Lan face. Hide when you see her in the future. Thank you, my lady, for helping me out. You have now made 2 military contributions. Serve the military council hall well, and your achievements might surpass mine in the future. I will return to the temporary imperial residence first. Qiu Lingji came suddenly and left in a hurry. Even Qiu Lingji said that she is arrogant. She is indeed very arrogant. She treats Tianmen province as an important figure of the Lu clan. It seems like Lu Lan and the Lu clan are still in deep waters. From now on, Lu Lan and I are officially enemies. As he was about to return to the Feather Ascension Hall, Su Fong was thinking about what happened previously. Little brother. Above the forest, Bai Ling's voice suddenly appeared. Su Fongdao was delighted. He looked to the right and saw Fairy. He's standing in the forest that was more than 10 feet high. He immediately stepped forward and jumped up the forest. Sister Bai, you found me so easily. You're not in the Feather Ascension Hall, but your scent followed you to the Military Council Hall. Therefore, I followed you here. Bai Ling was still emitting spiritual aura as she giggled. After not seeing you for a while, I thought something had happened to you, especially Luo Mushiwa. I don't know what method she used, but she found out that you had met with an accident in the bandit's lair. She also found out that you had returned a few days ago. Therefore, she asked me to come and see you. What was Luo Mushiwa trying to do? This question immediately popped up in his mind. She doesn't care about me. She must want me to do something. Bai Ling was still the same as before. She patted Su Fong's arm with her wings. My younger brother is really smart. She asked you to stay in the Feather Ascension Hall well. Here are 30 Meridian relaxation pills. She asked me to give them to you. She also said very generously that if you need any help in the future, you can look for her. Author's words. Thank you to Stupid Bookworm and Zhu Chu for the gift package. Chapter 64. Help. So kind-hearted. Su Fong snorted at first, but then he suddenly clenched his fists. What's wrong? Bai Ling saw him like this, and thought something had happened. Have her do me a favor. This favor is related to my father's whereabouts. Let's see if she really treats me as one of her people and also test her ability in Tianmen province. As it turned out, Su Fong wanted to use Luo Mushue's identity to help him find his father's whereabouts. This was a shortcut. Even if he had Luo Mushue help, it would be used against him, but for his father, so what? Bai Ling couldn't help but be serious. You better think this through. Let Luo Mushue know your background and know everything about you. In the future, if she really wants to do something to you, you won't be able to deal with her. This person is unfathomable. Even if she's powerful, she can still defeat Tianmen province's lord. Sister Bai, I know you're worried about me, but don't worry, little brother has a way to protect himself. Why is it that every time I don't see you, you become more and more unfathomable? Haha, I'll have to trouble sister with this matter. Su Fong smiled, but didn't say anything. He now had Xianwang's Six Paths Pagoda, Primordial Chaos Saint, and especially Dao Wuliang, a powerhouse on par with Tianmen province's lord. Why would he be afraid of a single Luo Mushue? Bai Ling couldn't argue with him, nodding and leaving the military strategy hall. Returning to the Feather Ascension Hall, Su Fong began to cultivate. In this half a month, he went back and forth between the military strategy hall and the Feather Ascension Hall. Purple Bamboo Valley in the dense forest of the mountain. Su Yin, Su Yi, Su Dali, Su Kong, Su Yiweiyin, and Su Xiaolong each held a channel relaxation pill. Very excited. You killed 6 Feng in battle. Truly satisfying. Not only did they obtain the channel relaxation pill, they also asked Su Fong where did he get so many immortal pills. When Su Fongda summarized her journey through the star duels at Sandy Plains and even killed 6 Feng, everyone who heard cheered and clapped their hands. Among them, except for Su Yi and Su Xiaolong, the other 4 had all reached the flesh embryo realm. Su Yi and Su Xiaolong would soon break through to the flesh embryo realm. With this, the family Su seedlings could be considered to have formed a small force in Tianmen province. Su Fong, when you return to Tianzong City, you have to tell our family that you're safe. Everyone, don't worry. Just cultivate well in Tianmen province. If you encounter any trouble, just use my identity to fool those people. Try your best to avoid the people from the Liu clan. This time, Su Fong gave each of them 3 meridian relaxation pills. With their cultivation, 3 meridian relaxation pills were enough for them to cultivate for 3 months. After leaving the Purple Bamboo Valley, Su Fong immediately returned to the Grand Council Hall. It sounded like a 7 or 8-year-old child. It seemed that not only Su Fong felt the magic power, but Xian Huang also felt it. In fact, Xuan Huang's senses were better than Su Fong's. He was a king-grade magic artifact. I should wait until I reach the Dharma opening realm before using magic power. It's so thin, and it's hard to condense magic power. I can't use it unless it's a critical moment. He was still very happy. He had reached the 5th layer of the secret path and now had magic power. When everything was calm again, he took a meridian loosening pill. In just one day, he arrived at Purple Chi Mountain. The first thing he did was naturally to go to the tomb. After leaving for less than 3 years, Su Fong came to the tomb again. The wasteland that the Su family had opened up in the past was covered with weeds. Fortunately, there were people cleaning the tomb. Grandfather, father, mother. Su Fong knelt in front of the tomb and couldn't help but think of the past. In the end, he didn't fulfill his grandfather's wish to learn medicine and become a doctor in the future. Instead, he stubbornly walked on the path of cultivation and went further and further. After staying in front of the tomb for an entire day, Su Fong went to the back of the mountain and went to the cave where he and his master Yang Yizhen used to cultivate. He felt a little lost and quickly rushed to Tianzong City. Tianzong City was still bustling with people and business. Merchants from all over could be seen everywhere. Su Fong also saw the Su family servants, who often patrolled the streets. Family Su's territory in the past. Su Fong stood in front of the medicine shop and saw that it had been repaired. It was exactly the same as before. Although the medicine shop was closed, he could still see that people often went in and out of it. There wasn't a trace of dust on the doorframe. This is Fong Er. Thinking about the days he spent with his grandfather, Su Fong didn't notice a group of arrogant experts walking over. The leader was actually Su Tung. When Su Fong came back to his senses, Su Tung had already rushed over and sized up Su Fong. The family Su experts behind also recognized Su Fong immediately, who wasn't shocked and surprised. Now that the family Su was able to establish themselves in Tianzong City, it was all thanks to Su Fong. It seemed that in the family Su, Su Fong's influence was indescribable. So Yin, and the others are still cultivating hard in Tianmen province. Fong, it's good that you're back. How long will you be staying this time? Inside the medicine shop, the family Su experts lined up at the door and guarded the passage. Su Fong and Su Tung were sitting on chairs and talking. From Su Fong's words, Su Ting learned about the recent situation of Su Yin, Su Dali, and the others. His eyes were full of comfort. Su Fong said, "Uncle, I came back mainly to help everyone improve their cultivation and step into the flesh embryo realm.